All right, so last we left off with Bron. Bron and the other members of the party had been told by their, the person who was giving them orders at that time, the Lucky Unicorns representative, Gloria Umbra Fenlock, had told them, hey, there might be a member of your group who is a mole and is trying to ruin this operation, so can you please find them for me and get rid of them? Over the course of the next couple days, Bron, along with the group, went and greeted Leon and the other convicts that he brought in, helping them when they botched a store robbery in Answerum. And it was then, after giving their report, after having been given a few days to look for the culprit, that Bron was stabbed in the middle of, in front of his entire group of allies, and that is where we will begin. So, Bron, the knife sinks into your chest, and time seems to stretch. The lights fade as you glance around in that last moment, your throat tight as you catch sight of some of your comrades. Their faces blur and swim, and within moments you fall into darkness. When you open your eyes again, you awaken in darkness. There is no light source illuminating the area. You feel dirt and grass underneath you. It takes you a moment, but your eyes slowly begin to adjust. You begin to see the outlines of rolling hills in the distance, and tall trees scraping leaflessly into a forebodingly black sky, utterly devoid of stars. In the distance, however, you can see several spires reaching up into the blackened sky, these towers somehow a starker, deeper black across the pitch-dark void above. The spires call to you.
Alright, Bron gets up, starts making his way over there to the spires. Meanwhile,
You travel
looking
through...
around
Oh,
cautiously.
okay. Go ahead and do a perception check. I guess do it in the dice rolls room.
Alright, hold on.
Okay, 17. All right, cool. Yeah, so you travel through the shadowy countryside. It seems that there's trees and bushes and other plants growing, but everything here is devoid of color. Even when they're blooming, the plants appear somewhat malnourished and hollow and lifeless, as if everything has been leached out of them. Here and there, as you travel through this sort of woodsier area, you can see scatterings of bones and skeletons that have been left behind, as if they've just been left to degrade in the dirt in the countryside. They seem to watch you as you pass, but they make no move. You also realize that as you are walking, the surroundings around you are changing rapidly. One moment you're in these woods, and then with a step or two you're suddenly in a prairie, and the woods are hundreds of feet behind you. The shapes swirl with your steps, but your eyes are locked on the towers ahead. Is Bron just going to continue marching along?
Straight up, just keep moving.
Sit. That's a good way to be. You pass by a stream, the waters of the babbling brook somehow simultaneously sounding like a dry throat cracking and someone drowning. You trudge across a frozen tundra, the ice and snowpack cracking beneath you and crusting your legs up to the knees. Every once in a while, the perfectly smooth snow is broken by blackened limbs frozen in some semblance of terror. But you march on, resolute. The black sand swirls around your feet as you hike up a sand dune. A slight slip, and you plant a hand into the sand to stabilize yourself. Pulling free, you climb and reach the crest and see below you an ocean of dunes between you and the towers. So close now, standing amidst a wall of mountains as sharp as fangs. You're almost there. The cliff face is broken and cracked. Massive claw marks rend the surface, but provide excellent channels for climbing ever higher. As you reach for another handhold, the rock breaks beneath your grasp, and debris is dislodged from the wall, tumbling down. Your other hand holds firm as you reposition, watching them fall hundreds of feet to smash on the ground below. You keep climbing. The towers are just ahead.
Hello.
You have been muted, Astro. There are reasons for this. Go ahead and listen in. After a few minutes, or days, or years, you stand before the base of the tower. It fills the basin of this mountainscape, this great monolith of obsidian. Walking around part of the circular base, you find at first that there is no clear entrance. After another lap, and another lap, each taking you around a single circular tower base, you pause where you started. There appears to be a door there.
Alright,
You're now at
cautiously looking around again, I walk up to the door and see if I can open it.
As you reach for the door's handle, it opens, and you see an emptiness within, shrouded in veils of shadow. There doesn't appear to be anyone else around.
I'll yell into this darkness. Hello? And slowly move in.
The shadows appear to muffle and obscure your noises that you made, and as you step closer to the door, suddenly you are floating in blackness once again. The door behind you is gone, if ever it truly existed. The presence, however, has stayed, though you see nothing. And then, the presence in that darkness with you, it shifts, and you see the shadows begin to gather and coalesce in front of you. Infinite layers of darkness writhing and wrapping and condensing, creating form and volume, filling a massive space with an energy that isn't quite light, but is as stark to regular darkness as night is to day. In the space of shifting shadows and lightless color, you see the figure of the Lady of Loss, the Nightbringer, the dark goddess herself, Shar.
Nightsinger.
Why won't it? There we go.
I'm blessed to be in your presence once more.
My child, you have come once more.
Nope, you cut out for me a little bit.
Oh geez, that was weird. You try and drop one image and it just takes a crap on itself. All right.
Discord.
Yeah, so
You were saying.
yeah, we were at you were saying Nightsinger, I have come again, and she was saying, my child, you have come to me once more. A sort of twisted smile appears on her face, and she kind of waves one of her pale hands, and you see sort of like a pool, as if the darkness below you is made of water, kind of ripples and shimmers, and as you look down, you hear her say, let me show you something wicked. And reality kind of shimmers like the water beneath you, and you see an image of a massive throne room. 6 figures beneath you engaged in a truly epic combat. There are 2 silvery-looking dragonborn and 2 silvery-looking humans, and one man with silvery eyes, and one man whose face you recognize almost instantly as that of your quarry, the one you had been tracking, the one whose failure to kill had meant such devastation in your life. You see the face of Broseph Lightstrider, fighting alongside 4 other adventurers against a truly dangerous seeming creature. This other man dancing between them, just brutally slamming them down, stabbing them. It doesn't take long before it seems that most of the group is incapacitated, though they have managed to harry and beleaguer this powerful foe. And then there is the appearance of a 5-headed dragon who you may or may not recognize, probably not. And the image changes, and you hear Shar's voice again. And with that change, all of destiny is unraveled. And that same scene that you had just seen those figures fighting in and this large 5-headed dragon appearing is now completely different. A dark-haired man in an opulent golden mask adorned with gems and jewels sits atop that same throne in that same throne room, gazing down at the corpse of an older man in priest's robes. He gestures with the hand, a mere flick of the wrist, and a light shines down on the corpse from some unseen location up above, and it instantly immolates. Within moments, there is but ash in the air, and a new figure appears in the same pool of light, his raiment radiant in the beams. A small, thin, humorless smile plays across the lips of the masked man on his throne, and the exact same smile appears on the face of the priest. The image ripples once more. You must help me, child. You must find it. The images coalesce again. You see a long-bladed spear set into an altar wreathed in shadows. Flash to a deeply wooded wilderness, a small cleft in a mountainside in the shadow of an ancient, massive, crumbling statue, the only remnants of it a torso with what looks to be a blade through the chest. There is snow melting on the nearby slopes. Flash to a townscape, the buildings dour and foreboding, stark against the snow-covered landscape. There are bodies in the snow, and through the gently falling flakes you can see splashes of red and pink. But even as the snow falls, the vision and the red are fading, all fading to white. Your consciousness returns to the familiar darkness of the interior of the Towers of Night. Except, something is wrong. The entire structure seems to shudder, and you can hear a deep rumbling far beneath you. It has been found. You see the pale form of the night goddess hovering above a small pool of dark water, the same as before, images continuing to play across the surface and twinkling in the darkness. As you peer more closely, you feel once again drawn into the pool, and the scenes play out more vividly, but with lightning rapidity. The Dark Lady floats before a figure cloaked in black robes, offering the figure an obsidian ring with a purple-rimmed onyx inset. You can tell even now that the object radiates the divine energy of your deity. Flash, the same cloaked figure, standing before an altar, the ring on one of his fingers. It pulses with the figure, clearly beating in time with their heart. Flash, the figure is kneeling before a woman, soaked in blood and cloaked in her hair and wearing a vibrant purple dress. There's an air of blood and death and decay hanging off of her. She slits one of her wrists with a sharp, shining fang and fills a large chalice and hands it over to the cloaked figure with a smile. Flash, the Shadow Man, strides across a cracked and blasted landscape, the sky a sickening, darkened blur of red, purple, and black. Hordes of undead battle with warriors in brightly glowing armor, though it appears futile as the Shadow Man steps forth. Fell blade in hand, the Shadow Man darts between the bright warriors, and where it reaches out, those lights are snuffed. Suddenly, there's a burst of radiance, and a roaring winged nova of light blazes forth from the east, hurtling towards the Shadow Man. Just as it slams into the shadow, the form resolves into the figure of an armored man until there is a flash as the two figures clash and reality shatters like so much brittle glass. Formless, falling between massive panes of reflective memories, you hear a titanic weeping, as if the very air itself were filled with anguish. The falling shards crackle and splinter like fractals, and in less than a moment you are falling through a cloud of glass. In between the shards you see small snatches of activity, and the growing, wrathful presence of the Dark Lady. In one, a woman with white hair and fangs bites Rhea's neck. Undeath. A man with a tentacle wrapped around his neck is speaking to a man with flames for eyes. Those who are too ignorant. A one-eyed man watching a bloody pool with intensity. Those who are too foolish. A massive building in a major city lit up with all manner of colored neon lights. Those who would drink the whole world. The image of the spear again, more insistent. You must find it. Shade Weaver. Suddenly, the visions end, and you are standing in the darkness of the tower chambers, Shar floating before you. She reaches a pale hand out in offering, and there's a sadness to her.
I'll slowly walk over and go to grab her hand.
You find that you're unable to walk in this space, being mostly formless as you are. However, as you consider the thought of form, you realize that you are in fact there. And as you reach to accept, the sadness disappears in a sudden wash. Your forearm is grasped by a hand stronger and colder than steel, wrapping your arm in a vice. She pulls you suddenly close, and there is a distinct manic glint in her eye as she reaches her other hand up to your head, placing 2 fingers on your forehead. You must find it, and bring them all my gift. The image fades as a searing cold rushes through your body, from your arm and your head, and you awaken suddenly in bed. Ixa is nearby with 2 people you don't quite recognize, and she appears to breathe a sigh of relief and bark an order that you can't hear or understand, and the 2 rush out of the room. You can't seem to hear anything for a moment as a whisper carries through the air of the medbay room. Find the Shade Weaver and bring them death. And that's the end of the dream sequence, such as it is.
That was badass.
I hope it helped.
That was really fucking good.
Okay, cool. And I will unmute you now, Astro, so that you can speak.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. If you wanted, we could continue to do the rest of the stuff that wasn't the dream sequence that I sent you, but I think we're running low on time before Mal's session, so we could just hop into there instead. But basically, I'll go over the steps for what happened afterwards. Bron wakes up. Ixa and Fenlock are there. Fenlock will be brought in a second. It has been a few days. Bron was poisoned so that he would appear dead. He has that explained to him. Fenlock will explain to Bron, since you died, and she'll do the air quotes, died, it's more likely that the person that we were actually seeking to find, the actual mole in the organization, is more likely to slip up now. So I need you to be my eyes and ears and rejoin your group. I think the mole is Cayman because he has stolen an object of great importance. My boss is all over my ass for this. So Bron is going to be told that his job is to rejoin the group, gather information, and capture and subdue Cayman if needed to reacquire, stop him from ruining their operation because he knows a bunch. In order to make that happen, Fenlock will reveal that a temple to Shar is hidden underneath Ansarum, and that the Lucky Unicorns work with them on occasion. Bron will be taken after getting a goodbye with Ixa, if he wants to say goodbye, since they kind of had a connection going. And he will be taken to this temple, where the residents of the temple will somewhat welcome Bron back in, because they'll notice that he's been kind of like marked by the goddess, so they can't say no, sort of thing. But the last that Bron dealt with was actually kind of being in trouble with the temple for failing and getting caught, so that'll get resolved. And then he will be teleported via magic circle to Sichuan, to a hidden temple of Shar in the city. And while there, he will be made aware by the head of the temple that the biggest issue that this temple is facing is one of their own survival, that due to proximity to the Empire, the growing military presence in this city, and the amount of excavation and development that is occurring, they are in danger of having their hidden underground temple found, excavated, and then they'll all be killed because they are an unapproved religion. So that is how Bron got to Sichuan. And that's the dream sequence that got him there. So those are the things that he would be dealing with as of last session. So with that, I will end the recording unless you have any further questions.
None for me. Nope.
Okay, cool. Then we are done with Bron Gaiden rejoin sequence 1. All right, welcome back for another session of War and Peace, right? All right. Recently, the party, the Whale Pale Trail of the Gale, arrived in the city of Sichuan in our fair country of Aelin Miley. And on the first night in town, decided to get up to some nastiness. Leon and Yoga headed to the Lummy's Luxurious Beds Inn, looking for just information in general, but found that a certain noblewoman might be staying there, who we have now discovered is possibly the target of Leon's ire for some reason or another. Leon and Yoga, after speaking with and employing a traveling bard named Cade Greenwood to spy on this noblewoman, stayed in a Galder's tower that was summoned on top of someone's property. The next morning, they went to go and meet with the rest of the party to begin their tour through the town. And all told, the group went to the mayor's office and met with the mayor, and witnessed a bit of an altercation between the chief Ugturk of the Orcish lands to the west of the city and the mayor. And afterwards, Lucy went in and tried to coax the mayor into not voting in favor of the Ansarum decision, only to find that was already the position of Mayor Zindfelter, who then asked if the party would be willing to assist with removing some ne'er-do-wells in the city, in return for potentially some better pricing for land that Lucy showed interest in purchasing. After waiting for a little while at a nearby cafe while Rhea stuffed her face, Kleeck decided to fly off in search of a tanner to work with, and found one in the city just to the south of Sichuan, and began practicing tanning, while the rest of the party headed to the Ugturk lands, where Leon attempted to get Chief Ugturk to agree to, I guess, attack the Razan lands just to the east of his, which he flatly declined. The party then went and spoke with the guard captain of the Sichuan Town Guard, Gareth Miles, the flashy and stunning Leonin, and shown a map rather of several locations that have been the site of murders where they found dead bodies, where there have been attacks reported. And these don't even cover the full, number of attacks because, as Gareth Miles explained, where there have been reported attacks, where there have been fights at times, sometimes the bodies are not left. So a number of locations of displaced resident, or the Landless, have been located. Those are in the red circles. And after learning this information and being asked to assist by Gareth Miles as well, they headed back to the Coventress to rest. Lucy had been showing signs of distress most of the morning, and as you return to the boat, she goes below decks into the cabin to rest herself. Rhea goes with her for a little while and comes back out and says, she's really not doing well. We should let her sleep. Also, as you come back, you find that Ornarin is no longer on the boat.
He jumped ship.
There is no sign of his departure. He's just gone.
Well, that sure is interesting. I thought I saw more in him than that. Well, guess it can't be helped. What time is it right now, Bren?
I would say it's maybe 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon. Kleeck, you have been now studying for most of the day, but I think you said you were going to stay for a couple hours longer or so.
I was planning to stay for most of the day.
Yep, okay.
Long as they'll let me. I might not be back till evening.
And then did Kleeck ever share any of that with the party, or did he just fly off?
He just flew off, as I recall.
Yeah, he tends to do that a lot.
He does.
Alright, I had a question about the sending spell, or more specifically, if whether or not I could use it on a particular person. So,
Who are you seeking to send a message to?
Sebastian Ramsey. I don't know his face, which is throws in the idea of familiar.
You only remember the voice and recognize the name. I don't know if that's enough. Why don't you roll an Arcana check real quick?
Alrighty.
Ooh, that's a chance.
Unfortunately, you attempt the spell, and you find that because you can't bring to mind enough pertinent information on the target, that it doesn't fire, it doesn't activate. You don't feel the arcane energy swirling through you, and the spell doesn't go off. Did you have a slot for it?
I did.
Okay, yeah, no, you keep the slot, it doesn't go off.
Okay.
You realize as you attempt to cast it that you just don't know enough to fit that slot. You know what I mean? That like part of the incantation that requires you to know who you're targeting. You heard his voice. It was brief, and it was one time. You never saw his face.
Noted. Thanks. I'm gonna. Okay, go ahead.
You go first because I'm gonna go on a tangent.
I was actually going to what I was going to do is I was going to ask Leon did you have any business that you needed to do considering your situation?
Yeah, I need to. I have to apologize first. I didn't mean to bring this upon you all, but situations have become dire, and I fear that I may not get another chance. Not for a long time if I don't take it now.
Another
I'm
chance at
sorry.
what? You were talking about offing someone back there.
That, yes. I am the governess of Bellaforte happens to be staying here, apparently buying more land for her egregious amount, I'm sure. I'm just going to come out with this. I need to kill her.
Why?
It is a what?
That's Brightleaf. Why?
It's a very long story, but she deserves this. They all do.
Who's they? You brought up the one lady, but who's the rest of they? They means more than one, right? Yeah. Yeah,
And
it does.
yes, Leon, they deserve it is not very convincing. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're right.
Well, I'm not even saying he's wrong. I just want to know who they is so that I can determine it for myself. Because most people need something stolen from them so they can be honest. But you're saying you want to steal their lives, so you do have to justify that a little bit more. That's not really my thing.
They would be my siblings.
Oh.
They are. Yes.
You want to kill your family? Brightleaf
Yes.
seems greatly perturbed by the idea of killing family.
Yuga, as well, has kind of taken a step back from. Kind of looked away, but is still listening.
Rhea, however, yeah, I get you there.
Yes, I do. They have each done many more egregious things, I'm sure, than what I require the reason for, but they specifically have done awful things in order for me to be here. Any more detail than that, and I'd prefer us to go below deck.
Well, we have time. Kleeck's not here. Who should keep watch?
I think the pig wants to.
Can it? Yoga, can the pig keep watch?
I mean, I guess if I give it the command to squeal at the sight of anyone that isn't us, sure.
That'd be right, Wicked. You should try it. Try it, Yoga.
All right. Even though I can mentally command it, I will use the verbal commands and say, I'm gonna like kind of go to the pig and like, look at us. Look at us.
It looks at both of you back and forth.
These two as well.
It looks over at Brightleaf and Leon.
If you see anyone that isn't us, any of these four people, squeal.
And it heads up to the top deck and kind of puts its forelegs on the rim or the railing of the ship, peeks over the edge along the gangplank that's not pictured here, but is to the dock, and kind of sniffs over the edge and like looks back over you, gives you a nod, a very like it's a nod of approval, and he goes back to watch.
Out of character, I don't trust this, but yeah, sure.
Okay, good. Either way,
So I
Pig
just kind
does what pig does.
go ahead and roll a general perception check for the pig, which uses an average pig stat line.
So I guess I wouldn't have a +6, but I rolled a 17.
Okay, yeah. No, it's probably a 17, maybe a +1, maybe a -1. Pigs are actually pretty smart. So the pig has a general perception check for while it's on watch. The rest of the group is going to head below decks at Leon's request because he said he didn't want to talk about this above decks. So let's just head down to the eating area. I'll move us over to this side. Sorry, Yoga, I also grabbed you. Rhea's going to go into the kitchen and get some food for what is sure to be a wonderful dinner conversation, even during midday. It's probably second lunch right now. And so she comes back out with some salted jerky and sits down at the table. So, you were going to explain what we're doing here with your family and whatnot, yeah?
Yes. They, my family, as most of you who are with us know, is the Razans. They are one of, if not the richest families on the continent. We are also one of the most cruel and hate-filled families ever. My father was adamant about having strong, well-adapted children. You can imagine his disdain when a runt happened to come out amongst the group.
You mean you're a runt?
Yes.
Huh. You didn't look like a runt. You look fine to me. Brightleaf just nods, or like kind of shrugs and nods, like, yeah, whatever.
Yuga's kind of looking at him like he's looking underneath the mask now that he's knows what's underneath.
I was born. You have something else to say, Yoga?
I was just gonna say, but Yoga doesn't say anything. He just looks at you.
But, yes, when a runt came out, you can imagine he was none too pleased, none too loving either. And for such, and my mother being in his way of outright killing me, he decided that allowing the siblings to test out their own abilities on me as a punching bag that reacts, I suppose, would be a good way to make the strong weak, or the strong stronger and the weak weaker.
Oh, I remember now. And this is Brightleaf. You're the broken Razan, aren't you? The one who they got rid of. The one they won't acknowledge.
Yes, that would be me.
Even in the north, we heard stories about. Sorry about the police coming by my neighborhood. That's really annoying. Thank you for helping people. Goodbye now. Okay. Even in my family, we heard of it. I'm really sorry for what you went through. She kind of actually, I don't know if you're sitting in your chair, but she's going to kind of like, if your hands are on the table, she'll put a hand on your hand and kind of pat it reassuringly. And there's a tenderness there.
He's gonna kind of, at the touch, he's gonna kind of jolt back, but he's gonna put it back down. Thank you.
She'll kind of jolt away too after that and nod, calming down a little bit.
Thank you. But I'm sure they didn't tell you about. I'm sure you never heard about what happened and why he was not exactly welcomed out to any of the banquets or anything else, aside from his weak stature. And that would be because he was horribly disfigured. I'm gonna take off one of my gloves and show the scars on the hands.
What scars do I see?
Yeah, explain them real quick. Like, give a brief description.
Long healed burns and deep gashes that have kind of like scarred over but left divots and inclines in his hands.
Oh, jeez, but look, Leon, that looks bloody horrible. What did they do to you?
As I said, they tested out their abilities. Do you recall when Kaiman had the ring on his hand and you grabbed me?
Yeah, no, I couldn't forget that. Mm-hmm.
Similar to that, but theirs is much more pure than mine is. That burning sensation. But they, as he puts on his glove again, they did that to me throughout my childhood, and the scars never exactly heal from those kinds of burns.
And what does your family do
The-
now?
Well, as you know, my sister is a governess for Bellaforte.
Yeah,
The rest have, yeah, they the rest have scattered about the winds. I'm sure they're doing something meaningful or disheartening or whatnot to show that they're better than anyone else who they meet, hurting anyone who gets in their way. The exacts are quite lost on me. They've been scattered and I've been away for quite some time.
And then Yoga kind of looks at you and says, "Mind if I ask, what exactly is your plan of action? How exactly do you attempt to pull this off?"
Well,
Yeah, if you're looking to kill someone, then you need a plan. But you're supportive of this, Brightleaf? Brightleaf just shrugs. I heard bad stories.
yes. Thank you. But as far as carrying it out, as you saw, I tried to stir something up between Chief Ugturk and them, which did not go as planned. I also have I also have a bard working for me at the inn where they're staying.
Wait, you hired a bard? We have a... Oh yeah, he left. Well, what did you hire him to watch her?
Keep tabs on her daily goings about. What time she leaves, what time she comes back, how many
That's
guards
clever.
she takes with her each time. And since we know we know where they were building, I assume we can set something up there if need be.
We.
Yeah, if you intend on helping. If not, I.
Yoga nods his head no. I don't support vengeance, and I have better uses of my time.
So, Leon, after having given this long story and kind of explained a little bit of your situation, please roll a persuasion check for Rhea and a persuasion check with advantage for Brightleaf because she rolled a history check and actually remembers having heard this story at some point and actually has some pity for you. So persuasion against Rhea first, and then persuasion with advantage against Brightleaf.
Damn.
Yeah.
20 and 21.
Yeah, no, you did really well. Rhea's like, I think I wouldn't mind if this one lost her head over this. You know, as long as there's something shiny in it for me afterwards, just don't let anyone know I did it.
Of course. Whatever jewels or money, you're free to have you play with them. I don't want blood money anymore.
It's wrong what they did to you. If I can help, I will.
Thank you.
Yoga will kind of look surprised, but not like say anything at them two.
Yoga, I know you're against this, and I don't blame you. But I
You
assure
don't
you,
have to be a part of it.
yes, you don't have to. But if you do, I can possibly assist you with your friend.
I repeat my nod no. Like, it's fine if you two wish to help him, but I restate my phrase. I have better things to do.
Very well.
What are you going to do,
That-
Yoga?
I kind of look up to the ceiling as if I'm expecting the sky, then remember we're in a boat and say, I got a thing to figure out.
Like what?
Everything. I've been trying to figure out that this entire journey. And that kind of, Yoga will chuckle. Well, you've had your winded conversation, Liana. Guess it's my time.
Yes, you're free to talk as you like.
Destiny always came to me through other people. If a big dragon came down and someone else needed it to be slayed, well, the answer was obvious. It was threatening other people's lives, but this whole thing with the unicorns and the Empire, it's all just politics. There is no right answer. At least if there is, I have not yet to find it.
Everyone finds their answers differently. Isn't that correct?
Yoga nods but doesn't say anything. I know Kleeck isn't doing much, but if we want to give Kleeck a turn for a moment, I'm fine with that.
I'm perfectly fine listening to all this.
Yeah,
and
Kleeck's learning.
Kleeck's busy.
Right?
I'm learning as a player. I'm listening to all this. I am paying attention. I'm not zoning out like I might have been last session and regret.
Well, that's
But,
why
I
it's
mean,
recorded.
hey.
No worries.
Now I have little. I mean, I've actually have put together a clue of what the heck the party got up to after when Kleeck was gone towards the end of last session. But at the same time, it's kind of funny because I'm just as clueless as Kleeck.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're not there, so totally makes sense. Yoga, pray, continue.
That was kind of it. Yoga kind of, after that comment from Leon, just kind of stopped talking.
Got it. Well then, if you two are done, what should we do next? We got destinies to figure out, and we got a lady to kill. And I guess we're gonna do what? Figure out the murders? Yeah, that. So,
If Leon, I assume you're not moving on this plan today.
No, we still have plenty of time. I haven't heard back from my bard yet. So, I believe we can check on that later, but we are still on a job, I assume, with the unicorn, so we need to do something about this. What did they call him? Landless killer?
I think
Is that
we
what
should
they call
ask the locals in those areas about what they've seen and what their experiences in all this. I think we need a fresh perspective.
Honestly, though, I was a little confused. Why did Lucy say that we didn't want to support the unicorns in the vote? Yeah, I was a little curious about that, too. I mean, I guess she was just flattering her because she wanted to buy land and such, maybe wanted a better price, but that was a little weird.
I think she's more focused on her own goals than she is about getting all of our goals done at once.
Well, she isn't running from the law like we are. No, she's a rich, noble person. But then why is she helping the unicorns?
I thought she wasn't helping the unicorns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she's playing a game that we're not part of, past pawns. I don't.
Since you all and I are in the same boat, kind of with this, let me see if I can't figure it out.
Actually, kind of thinking about it, Yoga's gonna kind of look at Rhea and say, "Have you not talked with her at all during your time alone?"
Well, I mean, we have. I guess, it's just one of those things. Go ahead and roll insight if you want.
I will. Da 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 da.
Nice. Well, I mean, we've chatted about it, but she's kind of dodgy, doesn't really give a straight answer. I'm going to roll deception.
This is a rogue we're dealing with. I don't know if 17's high enough.
Oh, there it is.
It's not a lying rogue.
It's the lying.
As she says what she says, her face goes a bright red. And you can tell that she is not being honest with you. It is very obvious. In fact, your passive insight for both Leon and Brightleaf will also trigger, and you will also know that she's lying as she says that.
Lovely.
I'm gonna kind of give as she says that kind of tiny frown that says, "I don't believe you," but won't say anything else. Well, once I figure out the piece of my own puzzle, I'll talk to Lucy if need be. Otherwise, I think the sort of leadership she's provided, I'll accept for now.
Yeah, and we get to use this sweet boat.
It is rather nice, isn't it? I do think we need to, at some point in the next day or so, check and see if that, what was his name? The bard fellow. Might need to check if he stole anything on his way out.
That would be a good idea. He didn't look the type, but you never know.
Yeah.
Who's going to keep watch if he left?
Well, the pig seems to be doing fine.
Yoga
I mean,
shrugs and
Lucy's not feeling well. She can stay aboard her own boat if we want to go do something while she's not feeling well.
Yeah.
kind of nod at that and repeat my sentiment as I still trust the guards to keep watch for us. We're docked at their place.
Yep. Well, I'm sure they wouldn't mind, but we haven't exactly made a.
I think I hear her up above.
positive.
I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. I'm sure we haven't made exactly the the most positive impact on them staring at yoga. Hmm.
Oh. Well, I guess I am associated with the person who conjured a tower. I kind of chuckle at that.
It disappeared after the day was over.
It still hasn't been 24 hours since you cast it yet, so it is actually still there.
It will disappear after the day is over. But I suppose. So you're going to figure yourself out? Is that right, Yoga?
Something like that.
Does that mean you'll be leaving us as well, or will you be staying?
Oh, no, I will be staying with this group. I'm looking for a direction to pull, especially if Cayman is gone, if I don't agree with Lucy.
Perhaps I can help you if you require it. I'm going to put the cards on the table. But that is for you to decide.
Yoga looks-
She's really not feeling well, guys. Maybe I should stay with her.
I suppose that's fine. Do we need to get her anything on the way out? Garlic, silver, holy water, anything?
Not that I think. Maybe just some rest. We have food here, so it should be fine.
Well, if you think you need to stay with her, I suppose that'd be fine.
Yeah, I'll hold the boat down while she's indisposed. You just come on back whenever you're done, and maybe we'll see Kleeck again.
Yeah. Do we know where Kleeck is, by the way? He took off this morning and we have not heard from him since.
He flew away
Nick,
while Rhea was eating.
I could use a sending spell, but that's a lot of mental energy for a bird. I'm sure he'll come back.
Yeah. Maybe we should leave some seed out front. Is that how they work? I've never run into one of his kind, so I don't know.
I think I
Still,
saw him making a nest up above. I could go check it out.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just keep an eye out for him too. Tell him we've gone down
Got it.
south.
as I hear the word nest, I was like, no, I was just about to defend the fact that he's an Aarakocra, not a bird.
No, he's a bird person.
All right. Are you all you're ready to dispatch and trying to out of character? What were they called? The places with the undesirables.
Oh, they're just they're little ramshackle settlements of like huts and holes that have been dug in the ground that different halflings and gnomes and former residents of the town have taken up new residence in after they were displaced.
You'll go use the word new residents.
The term that they are given is landless.
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready to check the land list, I suppose?
Which area did you want to go to? There were 5, if I remember right.
I think starting on the side of the town by Upturks, the upper area, is probably the better look. It seems to have the most concentrated amount of landless.
I don't have the map on me, but there is one to the right and to the left of Oakturk, facing a certain direction.
Yes. There was them. There was one by the. Did he call them the Gardenia?
Gardenio. Either.
Yeah, the Gardenios place. There was one up by them, and then there was the 2 by the Upturks. Maybe work our way down towards the Lordners? Was that what they were called?
Lorgner, Duke Lorgner's land.
Brandon, it's roleplay.
No, it's all good. I'm telling you what the term is.
Okay. But yeah, maybe we should work our way from up by the Gardenios and downward from there. Is that what do you all think?
Sounds good to me.
So something like this. Kind of
Like-
hit that top area, then the next area, then the next area, then...
Like after we get to the one under the Oak Turk, I was thinking of crossing the bridge over by the Avistro place. By the Temple of Light.
Oh, okay. There actually is no bridge, but you were told that there is a ferry here in the Earl district.
Okay. Alright, that helps.
I was
So
gonna
yeah,
say,
if
Yoga
you
might
wanna-
actually mention kind of having. We could just do this. We don't have to hit every place. Then we can easily reconvene it at the docks after hitting the first 3, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
maybe possibly hitting the rest.
So yeah, if you'd like to hit the western refugee camps as such, then we will do that. So excellent. Then as Brightleaf and Leon and Yoga leave the docks and head through the city, if you are choosing to leave now, correct? Or are you still just
Yes.
making plans? Okay. So the 3 of you head off of the boat. You stomp down the docks. The dock master waves to you as you pass by, saying that you have entered and exited your vessel, and the guard presence still seems like there's a few of them at this point. Probably another hour and a half or so has passed. Kleeck, it's getting to be mid to late afternoon. It's not quite evening yet, but it's getting maybe to the time of day where you've been here about 8 hours already. So eventually you're starting to feel that they're trying to close up shop for the day, but not quite yet. So as Yoga, Leon, and Brightleaf head to the first camp, you pass by the Civic Center. Continuing on, you pass through some undeveloped land. To the right, you pass by what looks to be a large number of gigantic mansions all being developed pretty close to one another, actually, on this smaller plot of land. And as you pass by, you get closer to Leon, your tower, which is still standing. And you can see a small crowd of halflings that have gathered outside of the home that it is atop of, and they are looking at the tower and all kind of talking to themselves. And when they see you, they all run back inside. And continuing on, you pass pretty close by to the Lummy's Luxurious Beds, which is next to or near to the Galder's Tower in the Gardenio district. But passing along, you don't see or hear anything of interest, and you get to what seems to be the end of developed land. No more signs of excavation. In fact, you start to see more of the rolling farmland and what have you. But as you get out here, a little bit farther away from the construction and I guess landscaping that is occurring in the Gardenio district and even east to in the Landerfell district, you reach a series of kind of small thrown together shacks with roughly cut wood, and some of them are sort of like halfway between a log cabin and a shanty. There's a number of gnomes and halflings that are out here, some of them covered in caked in dirt and mud. It looks like they're a lot of them are tired from a hard day's work. Some of them are actually still just returning now, as it's getting closer to the evening. And your group, not that you're trying to be stealthy, at least that I'm aware of, but your group is definitely noticed. You are an exotic-looking turtle, a masked man, and an elf. So as you enter the area, in a way, all eyes are on you. And go ahead and roll perception checks, please. I'll do one for Brightleaf.
Perception.
Brightleaf sees everything.
course she does.
She sees so far into the fourth dimension that she forgets what's in front of her.
Exactly. So, Yoga, you're the only one who would really notice. And you notice that a number of these people, on seeing you, actually retreat into their homes and look fearful. You can see as you pass through that when people notice you and your small group of adventurers, just the three of you even, they kind of flinch and cower a little bit. But as you march through the area, you don't see any like large buildings. You don't see any particular person who seems to be clean or a leadership figure or anything. And as you walk around, fewer and fewer people seem to be out and about. So, what would you like to do now that you are... I'm going to go ahead and draw your route. You have now gone to here.
I guess I'm going to bring this to attention of the party. You notice how they went back in their buildings as soon as we came?
What? I haven't really seen very many people here.
Well, they were, and then they left.
Why?
I mean,
do we smell?
a slight chuckle, and then, well, I mean, didn't the guard hire us or was offering to help us get rid of these people? You think these people are expecting an extermination squad?
If they were, I guess it wouldn't be the first. Otherwise, how would they know?
Yoga's gonna actually he's kind of looking through his bag and the spell repertoire to kind of see if he has anything that can help.
Do you have a
me.
focus or a component pouch? I forget.
I have the staff. I have the focus.
Right. Okay. But you're like flipping through your book then for the right spell.
Yeah. Any spell that I could use a send. Well, I actually can't use a sending because I don't have familiarity with these people.
No.
As I'm doing this, I guess I'll ask Leon, how are we approaching this? It seems that they're scared of us at the moment.
There are a few that remain in sight with those perception rolls. Yoga, I'll say that you can see in different places hidden behind, either the slats of windows or kind of peering out from alleyways or what have you, in these small kind of thrown together shacks and the little housing arrangements that they have. You can see people are watching you from hidden positions as if they are wary of your group.
Trying to think of every... I am actually... So I'm going to hand a staff and a spell book, and I think that's mostly what's on me, other than a backpack, which I guess I'll throw off my backpack as well. I'm going to give all this to Leon. I'm going to kind of slowly walk over with, the hands up in the air. I mean, no harm to, like, someone in the alley, and be like, may I ask a conversation with the lot of you?
Yeah, there's two sort of middle-aged halfling men kind of peering out of an alley at your group. And as you kind of toss your things over to Leon and raise your hands in apparent peaceful engagement, go ahead and roll a persuasion check with advantage. Okay. I'll take the natural 20. You don't need to roll again. So as you walk over, you appear not only just exotic and interesting with your large shell and interesting demeanor, but you appear very non-threatening. You've tossed down all of your gear. You are, you very much are playing the role, and it is successful. The two halflings, they appear to calm at your approach and kind of look to one another, their eyes wary. They seem, kind of glancing back and forth. One of them peeks around you to look at Brightleaf and Leon. Brightleaf has made no sudden movement, but she is kind of, to them at least, a tall, imposing, kind of sharpened and dangerous elven woman with a longbow and a rapier and a shield and some tough-looking armor. Like, she knows how to use all of her stuff. Likewise, Leon, you're kind of imposing and brooding and mysterious with your Plague Doctor mask and deck of cards and obvious arcane aura. So when they see you guys, they're like, huh. When they see Yoga, they're like, aw. So, who are you and why are you here?
Just a group of friends who've been traveling around trying to solve a lot of problems. We see this city has a problem, but if you could help us figure out what that problem is, we're not so quite sure. There seems to be a political issue that your town has.
Problems? Political issues? That's why you're here?
Yoga nods.
Well, you can start with the Bloody Mare. She's gone mad. I mean, yeah, I voted for her 20 years or so, but this is crazy. Lefford, tell the turtle guy. No, okay, I got it. She kicked us out of our homes. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, I used to live just south of here, over to where the Razan estate is now. Me and my family grew there for generations. One day she comes by with a writ of land use action and eminent domain, and the next day, home's gone. This 200 years we survived the Great War and it's gone. You can see tears kind of starting to trickle down the guy's face as he overly reminisces, and the other one kind of pats him on the shoulder. It's okay, Lefford. Just breathe. Yeah, no, I got it.
No compensation was given to you for the taking of your house?
Compensation? They demanded we pay for the privilege of them destroying our home. Couldn't afford the land tax. So now, the land we farmed and tilled and lived on, it's some ritzy elven bitch's place where she comes to spend her summers. How's that fair?
All right. I get that. What about are you aware of anyone? I've heard about attacks from some of these residents. Maybe not this one specifically, but from others like you who've been wrongfully taken of land. Are you guys aware of these attacks?
If I were, I wouldn't tell you. But yeah, there's plenty of people around here who wouldn't mind slitting the throat of that bitch. Don't mind me saying. I don't think any of them have, though. We all got our anger, yeah, but we stick to our own and keep tilling the fields. We're still expected to farm, you know? Someone has to around here, or we'll all starve.
Do I see the farmland?
Yeah. Yeah, from where you are, as you walked out here, I mean, like, I didn't put the farmland everywhere, but for instance, having just left the Gardenio area, there's probably some small, farmland in between. It's more just, the granularity thing of drawing a large map to represent a small scale.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so. I'm starting to sense a pattern, but I'll go on with my questions. Are the prices that they pay you for their farmland fair?
No, they used to be, but ever since they started developing the eastern side of the river, it's gotten almost impossible to afford land here. There's not many people now that still do. Stokeford maybe, and Vostro's a break off of Lorgner, but most of the places around here are people from out of town, never been here before in their lives. come in, buy up some land, and suddenly they have more rights than we do.
All right.
It wouldn't be so bad if they didn't treat us like the dirt they walk over.
I was going to nod empathetically and say, I think I'm done with questions. Is there anything you guys would like me to know?
You said you're here for politics. What does that even mean? You can't do much here unless you're a landowner.
Well,
Anyone rich enough to buy land always ends up siding with the mayor anyways, so if you were, I guess I'd ask you not to be.
I have no plans to purchase land. Not anytime soon. I'll kind of nod and then kind of wave like a goodbye as I take a couple steps back to...
You see a sigh of relief kind of go through both of them, and as you say that, good, because the more people buy land, the farther out of town we get pushed. But
So
you're walking away at that point, so I don't know if you respond or even really hear it. Up to you.
I'll say here and then just kind of nod. If they don't stop me, I return to Leon and Brightleaf.
They kind of watch you go and seem a little less wary, and in general, Leon, you and Brightleaf both notice that after that conversation, the area seems to be a little more lively. A little more people coming out into the open. They'd still eye your trio and step lightly as they pass by, but they seem more willing to come out after not a bad thing happened. And if any of you are paying attention, then you'll see that a gnome and another halfling kind of run up to Lefford, the one that you spoke with, and they kind of in hushed voices over in the corner have a discussion, glancing over at the trio, nodding to one another, and kind of disperse again. Lefford stays watching you. The guy who was with him leaves with the two people that came to chat. And Yoga, you're back with your group now.
Yeah.
It's just a brief thing that happened as you walked back the 30 feet or so from the space. Area picked up a little. Those people ran over and had a quick word and then dispersed. So, What did you say to those gentlemen over there, Yoga?
And I'm going to paraphrase and say what I just basically...
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah. Well...
They're getting kicked off their land to make room for renters.
Well,
I don't really understand this landowning thing. Where I come from, everyone has a home. I understand money, and I've been out and about long enough to get that you need it to own a home, but this sounds really weird.
yes, what's more interesting is most cities will have laws against governments taking of your property. This is either in some violation of laws or the laws don't exist here because of the ever so prevalent powers that exist. And then Yoga kind of trips over his words as he's trying to process everything.
This is what happens when people let money dictate their worth. I saw it in the brief times Father let me come with him on trips.
Leon, you talked to Ukturk. Did it seem that now that we've got a little bit more information, this was definitely a land issue that was already assumed. What did Ukturk say? Did he tell us what the disagreement that they had with the mayor?
He said that the mayor had lied and had cheated him out of something. But he had also had issues because of saying she was weak by favoring those with money rather than favoring her people.
He also said she was a liar.
Yes. Starting to think that maybe she's playing both sides with the outbreak with the landless. Maybe
What is her angle? She's the mayor. She's the most powerful person in the city. So what is she getting out of this?
Money?
more money, less peasants to dirty the streets.
Does she have a daughter that she's grooming for the mayorship?
Believe that got mentioned. I don't believe we saw her. But nonetheless, this is still a bigger issue than that.
That was definitely Brightleaf completely misunderstanding how mayorship works, and that it is an elected office.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't play as big a factor into this as smaller economic groups.
Oh, is it
It's an elected
not?
thing.
Oh, people choose their leaders here.
Yeah, which means something in the course of the choosing has gone horribly awry.
Well, they mentioned that they had chose the mayor 20 years ago.
Right.
20 years without a re-election is a long time.
It is. So you didn't happen to ask how often they used to have their elections, did you?
We could ask that to the next group over. I don't want to overstay here. They already seem wary of us, but I assume this will be something that all groups are, given their situation.
Yeah, probably right.
I'm going to suggest that maybe we start making our way to this place.
At this point, it's taken a little while to travel from the boat to this place and have this conversation. Kleeck, it's about time for them to be closing, so we will get to that. I just need to go to the restroom real quick. So if we want to take a break, give about
Perfect.
5 minutes and we can jump back.
Okay.
I will also
Okay.
use.
All right, I'll be right back.
Do I have proficiency yet?
In 2 days,
Oh.
no. It'll take more practice, but you are
I
on your
figured.
way. Especially since, like you
Yeah.
said, it's something that you've already done on your own. It's now something that you're formalizing the training for. So you'll have it soon. Don't worry about that.
So that was a heavy little drop of info.
Oh yes. Kleeck's over here doing info drops for ages now with his philosophies and talking with Brightleaf about his stuff.
Yeah, I need to figure it out. Or it's gonna be those kinds of episodes. Would Kleeck care about any of this? Maybe
You
it's just
might.
me, but huh?
Might- I was gonna say maybe he cares about what is right, but I won't speak for Kleeck.
I can't.
He
I can't.
does have a general idea of being a good person. He would rather people not be, oppressed, as you do.
Yeah.
That's valid. I like it when people aren't oppressed too.
When it gets into the government stuff, it gets a little complicated for him. But generally, when it comes down to it, yeah, he likes it better when people are happy and able to live their lives.
I expect that Yoga's gonna go to law school to figure, because I've got questions about laws. Like I said, you can't. I'd assume that most places don't have I'm thinking very American-like. There's laws that you can't just take people's lands, or that's basically any nation. But and then as well as the laws of re-electing leaders.
Yeah. Give me something to keep track.
I have an idea for sending, perhaps.
Actual day. Anybody want a Jack Russell dog or like a Dalmatian puppy? At 12.
Why?
Because I have too many dogs. And they need
I
going.
don't particularly want one. Sorry.
My friends are arguing about veganism right now.
That's
It's
nice.
wrong. Evil!
Like
Evil!
I think my friend's just being a shitter, but he's like, "What?" She's like, "What about
Boy.
plants? They can't give consent." I'm like, "Plants don't think."
No,
Well,
they do feel. They
And you can
we
talk to
discovered
them. You can talk to
Plant-
plants.
Speak with
Plant-
plants is a spell.
But plants
And then they
feel
feel.
when you eat them.
Veganism
They
would be
feel
different in
it.
the D&D world. Holy crap!
Well, you also got to realize what pollen is. Pollen
But-
is plants giving consent. Just saying. In any case, if we'd like to start again, Astro, are you here as well?
I am indeed.
Cool. We're all three here. 3 out of 3. So let's roll. Kleeck, it's getting towards sunset, and you've spent most of the day watching dudes pee into
And
buckets, and
wait, what?
that's one of
Wait,
the
what?
that's one of the substances that is used to help cure the hides and scrape off the That's why their hands are bluish green. That's why tanning smells so bad. So it's part of the trade. It's an easy way to get the chemical compounds that are required for the task at hand.
Okay.
So it smells bad, but it's part of the process. You could always pay someone to do that step for you if you wanted, but you learn how to do it more efficiently and quickly. You see that one of the halflings has quite a deft touch with the blade there for scraping free all of the remaining meat from the hide. So you learn some tricks, but towards the end of the day, they say, "Oh yeah, Kleeck, right? Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like you learned anything, or yeah?"
I forget what my int roll was, but I believe it was at least 10.
Yeah, I think you rolled a 10, and then you have a 5.
Yeah.
Well, if you want, you could come back tomorrow, and maybe you could try your hand at something. And
all right.
yeah, I think that would work pretty well. I mean, we got more work than we know what to do with, especially with all these nobles what in the north coming down and asking for specialty items. But yeah, if you come on back now, we can get you something to work on a little easier, a little simpler.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
Right. Whammo then. You just come on back now tomorrow. I guess same time as you did today, if you want. A little earlier, we get to start at the break of dawn, and we try to stop around dusk. As it's getting to summer now, that means long days there, Kleeck. So.
Okay. He's nodding along.
All right. You have a good one then. Luck be with you.
Yeah. You too. And he's gonna walk out and start flying back to the ship.
All right. I will do a return path for Kleeck. Kleeck, as you fly back to the ship, you see that it's a little bit later in the day. And upon arriving at the ship, I'm not going to switch it, but you're going to see that the pig is above decks. And as you flutter down, it's going to go... and Rhea will, burst out of the deck door, dodge roll onto the deck with her short bow drawn, and will aim up at you and be like, "Oh, hey, Kleeck, welcome back." And,
Hi. Why is the pig being loud?
"Oh, Yoga left him on watch in case anyone came, and here when Yoga told him what to watch for, so he squealed at you. If you're looking for Yoga and them, they went off to go look at the landless, homeless, placeless, the people with no homes."
What?
Come on down here.
All right. I'll hop down and follow.
All right, so Yoga and Brightleaf and Leon left a minute ago, and they said they were going to go up north a bit and then kind of look at all these different, small little towns where people with no homes live. Try and find out what's going on with them, what are attacking the Ugturk place, and...
Wait. How do they have no homes if they're in a town? A town is a group of homes.
Rhea shrugs. I don't really understand it myself. I'm not really paying attention, but I think that's what they're trying to figure it out, honestly.
Okay.
Unless you want to hang out here with me. I'm keeping track of Lucy. She's not feeling too good. She's below decks.
Yeah, Kleeck's just sitting here scratching his bird brain right now. I might be able to manage to find something that could help if you're looking for herbal medicines. I remember a few things that might be helpful.
Maybe? I don't know. I guess we could try something. I don't really know nothing about mixing stuff, but, I mean, if you need any help, I can take you down to the kitchen. There's some stuff down there.
Yeah, it's probably best to see what we have before I go looking for anything.
Alright, then, well, let's head down. She takes you down to the kitchen of the boat, where there's a number of cooking supplies. Go ahead and roll an investigation check. Well, alright, so let's do a nature check to see if you know what you need. An investigation check to see if you can find it. And now a medicine check to see if you can properly mix something based on what you think. Okay. So you think you know that you can make sort of like an herbal remedy with some of the basic ingredients that you have in the kitchen. And you are easily able to find them. It's a pretty well-stocked little kitchen cabinet area here on this boat. And as you mix them, Rhea's watching with wide eyes like, this isn't magic, but this should be. And after a little while, you've kind of like cooked something over the stove, and you have sort of like a bubbling, thick green potion that you're pretty sure should take the edge off and make someone feel a lot better. Should they have stomach pains and what have you. And so, medicine bird, driver, Tanner, he's a helpful bird. Honestly, yes. So you complete this potion, and Ray's like, maybe this will work. I can take it to her, and I don't know, do you want to, or?
You can do it.
Okay.
I might
Thank
try
you,
and set
Kleeck.
up some traps before the night's out.
Oh, that might work. Let me know how that goes. I'm gonna go take this to Lucy. And she heads over to Lucy's room and heads in and closes the door behind her, and you can hear muffled voices behind there as she's talking. And what did Kleeck do? Is he gonna go and lay traps?
First, he's going to go to the top of the deck and check on how his meats are drying on the rigging.
Hamlet, the pig of the Stone of Hamlet, comes over and is kind of just following you around, kind of sniffing you warily, not thinking that you're one of its allies. As you check the meats, it also sniffs the air around the meats. You sniff the air around the meats. They smell like they're curing nicely.
Okay. I'm going to take a moment to look down at the pig that I could just as easily add to the curing rack.
The pig looks determined to defend the deck of the boat.
I'll give him a little pat on the head, and I'm going to fly off.
Oh my god.
Why are you so good at making pig sounds?
Well, we'll not get into that tonight.
Oh my god.
Okay. Anyway, I'm flying off towards the forest.
Which forest? There is forest in all directions. It really depends on which one you're looking for.
That's why I'm not picky. I'm probably going to go northwest because that's the densest. It doesn't look to be broken up by
Okay,
houses.
cool. That makes things very easy. So, Kleeck begins to head off in a northwesterly direction. As you're flying, you fly over the civic center that you entered. You see a number of towns guard around the entrance, a little more than you saw before, and a number of nobles entering and exiting the facility. As you fly over, you also notice the red mark, which is the Galder's Tower. So you see the tower that maybe you had heard mentioned sitting on a seemingly empty plot of land. We've temporarily lost Astro in Roll20. There you are.
Yeah, I accidentally hit back page.
It happens. And as you're flying over, go ahead and roll a perception check there, Kleeck.
Okay.
That's enough. So as you are flying overhead, you actually see the party heading through some little trails through the farmland as you're flying over the Gardenio area past Galder's Tower. So you see the party at this point. Brightleaf, Leon, and Yoga, please roll perception checks for me to see if you see Kleeck.
Yes, please
I'm gonna
do.
fail.
Please do.
You're just going to automatically fail? That's fine.
Honestly, sometimes it's just laziness. I don't.
Leon and Yoga. Suddenly, from Brightleaf, you hear, "Oh, look, it's Kleeck." And she's looking up into the sky and pointing. And Kleeck, you see that Brightleaf has noticed you and is sort of gently waving to you.
I will wave back and probably begin. I'll begin to descend, especially if one of them spotted me. I'll go down and say hi.
Where have you been off to, Kleeck?
I heard you were off to finding towns without home.
Yes, they call these people the Landless.
Blink,
Their
blink.
story is rather sad, Kleeck. They had their homes taken from them. You recounted it already, that's why I'm...
Oh. That's not good. It's a little hard for me to relate, because I've never really had a house the same as these people. And I don't completely understand the landowning thing. But
Me neither.
we've been over this, so there's not really much to ask.
These folk are strange, and they have strange problems, but it does seem to be a problem.
So what are you guys doing right now to try and... I imagine you're trying to help with it.
Brightleaf gestures to Yoga and Leon.
Right now, I'm gathering information. I have some ideas in mind, but I figured we should visit them. Get everyone's side of the story. We've only visited the one place. I think the story will be the same, but never hurts to check.
I'm not very good at dealing with people side of information gathering. I was getting ready to go on a hunt, though. If anybody is hungry and needs meat, I should have a decent amount, especially by tomorrow morning.
Yoga's gonna nod and say, "Oh, but you'll be back by nightfall." Depending on how the conversation goes, I might have a way you can help, though it'll be entirely up to you.
Okay. Well, give me a couple hours, set traps, and hunt for some larger stuff. Then I'll be back, and in the morning I can check the traps.
Okay. I'm going to look at Leon and Brightleaf like anything else needs to be said before the Birdman flies away.
Keep an eye out. If
For
guards. If I'm not mistaken, they've been doing clearing runs of the peasants nearby. Just
bird prone.
Keep clear of them if you can.
That should be easy. Just gonna look at my wings.
Alright. I think that's it. Go crazy.
I'm gonna give you a feathered thumbs up as I begin to fly away.
Adorable.
You think he'll come back okay? Looking at Yoga.
He always has.
Fair point.
Yeah, he's done this a few times now.
Alright. On to the next shanty, I guess.
So everyone please roll a perception check as Kleeck is about to leave.
Me as well?
Yes.
Oh, I am pretty decent at perception.
Good God Almighty.
Eagle
Yeah, I
eye.
know.
That's 3 today.
Hey, I keep rolling so mediocre.
Kleeck.
I'm meeting with my left hand or my right hand, trying to press the button with my left.
Oh my goodness!
Oh
There's
my
another one.
I was just
So-
about to say
so,
too. Up until this point,
I'm
I've
just
got like
saying,
a 15.
I believe Brightleaf's perception is better than mine. Never mind.
Brightleaf has a +6,
Oh, it's equal, so it doesn't.
and
really
she
matter.
rolled a 3. So you have the best roll. And Kleeck, you actually have enough. Kleeck, as you take off with your elevated position in the sky a little bit, you can see from your vantage point that there is a group of figures leaving the lands just south of and a little bit to the west of where you are.
And would that be these ones?
No, it would be the ones with the green ring around them.
Okay. So there's just people leaving this, what looks to be a normal population center, not like one of the shanty towns.
Well, actually, I would say that it looks like that particular area is a bit different than the rest, in that there's a palisade wall around it, and the people that are leaving it look like armed warriors.
I am going
Armed
to
and
very
armored warriors.
land again and point that out
Okay.
to the party. Guys? I
Yeah.
don't know if those are guards, but they're marching somewhere. I'm gonna
And
point it
having
out.
this pointed out, we can see it. We'll be able to see it, Brent, if it's pointed out to us.
Yeah. After you can see it after it's pointed out to you, absolutely, and you can see that it looks like Chief Ugturk is leading a contingent of fellow orcs, all armed as if for battle, and they are marching out of the front gate and eastward towards the docks and civic center.
Kleeck, come back, bud. Might need all hands on deck.
I wasn't leaving after I saw that.
Yep. Yogesh, you think we can stop this kind of thing from happening?
Well, the question is not can we, but should we? I'm looking at 3 options. We could either continue to the shanty towns, we could stop them, or we could use the opportunity and investigate Utturk's land a little bit more, though I'm sure they'll have guards left to keep an eye on.
I don't think Ugturk is the right play on this one. Might be better to see what's going on first. Maybe we should follow them and see what's going on. What do you think?
Yoga's standing still and he's really thinking about it.
Dear God.
Go on without me. I'm going to continue. I'm going to look at Utturk. If I can't get anything there, I'm going to check out the rest of the Landless.
Yoga, I think we should stick together. If we're going to follow whatever the hell is happening over there, we shouldn't separate.
Can I ask for persuasion check?
From Brightleaf?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll roll a persuasion check.
I have my own DC set.
6.
No.
Yep.
I know this
She
is
just
odd, but
looks at you flatly. But go ahead, sorry.
I know this is odd, but I just have a compelling, and I'm going to kind of start walking towards this place. I'm just like, go on without me.
Oh, okay. She looks to you, Leon, and you, Kleeck. Should we go then?
Yeah, we need to figure out.
Yeah.
We
You
need to
guys
figure
happy I
out.
split the party again once I just got back together?
God.
It happens.
First you, Yoga. No, we need to figure out what's happening. Let's go.
All right, so I'm going to have Yoga head off to... Come on. There we go. Yoga heads off to
Actually, I'm
here.
gonna head here first, and then I'll kind of like make a switch. I'm gonna head to Ukturk first, and then I'll come back around if I can't get anything out of Ukturk.
All right, then I will draw you as going to the Ugturk land after they left, and I will have the party then going through Gardenia to follow the Ugturk group as they travel to the Civic Center. So, I guess we'll do the Civic Center stuff first.
Ooh, map.
Yes, please go ahead and drag your tokens for whoever is here into the southern section of the map. Yeah, that about does it.
I believe I got that to work this time.
Hey, it worked. It worked. It worked. That's a good thing. That means we did it right.
Heck yeah, I love
Yeah.
doing things right.
All right, so, oops, I don't
I
want
don't know
that
why that
yellow
reminded
mark.
me of it, but my English teacher still hasn't got my essay in.
That'll happen. That
Yeah.
will happen. Okay, so the three of you arrive. I need one last thing. Sorry, I had to make some tokens on the fly. Which is not the thing you want to tell your party, but also, hey, what are you going to do?
Red flags! Red
Realistic.
flags everywhere!
The lighter on your feet, the better you are as a DM.
Well, I also don't want to have it take time from the session, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's just one of those things that happens sometimes.
It
So,
depends. Like my friends, we've kind of come up with a ideal thing because this is just like a chiller group. That what we kind of do is like we'll kind of go to a place. My DM will say, "Okay, 10-minute break." He's gonna kind of pretty much role play everything in that 10-minute area, or he's gonna improv what he wants for the next 30 minutes in that 10 minutes, and then we kind of just have a chill 10-minute break.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. As you can see, I'm just throwing some stuff together real quick, so
Yeah. I
as you will.
don't think it's for every party, but it kind of works with this close friend group we have. So
Makes sense. It's good to be chill.
chill.
Huh.
Hey, they're gonna solve the problem. I don't have to do it. Maybe. Perhaps.
I'm just glad I got the lineup of the tiles correct so fast.
Am I able to say that I'm kind of flying over right now?
Yeah, just mark 50 feet up like you did before when you were...
I don't believe I'm the one that actually marked that, but I know how to do so.
Yep. So, I'm going to start dragging... What is it? Just random townies.
If I can take a liberty, just gonna put them over there.
Oh, I have a number of... Alright, I'm just going to start dropping tokens.
I did think about the chance that I could sending the party if I get any information here.
You could. You absolutely could.
I'm gonna send a message like as the combat begins. I'm like, guys, they're going to start a fight. Look out! As they're already in combat.
That'll happen. That'll absolutely happen. I'm gonna warn you about that thing that's already happening. Okay, so Kleeck, you're kind of flying above. Brightleaf is on the ground with you, Leon, as you approach this group, this large Chief Ugturk, who is marching along with a contingent of, it looks like, what, 12 orcs? Yeah, 12 orcs. And they seem armed and ready for combat and quite angry. And as they march up to the steps, Chief Ugturk begins bellowing. And he's yelling at the front steps, and you can see actually, even as he approaches, one of the guards runs inside, and looks pretty frantic with it. The guards are reacting to the presence of the orc chief and his tribe as they step to the front, and he's bellowing. Demanding a challenge, demanding an honor duel with the mayor. And the mayor, for her part, does not come outside at any point. In fact, the only person who comes out is the guard captain that you met before. He's too big, but Gareth Miles, the Leonin, walks out in his resplendent half-plate. And, does there seem to be a problem here, citizen? You know what the problem is, guard captain. No, I don't believe I do. Why are you causing disturbance in the Civic Center Square? I demand the right to an honor duel with a champion of the mayor's choosing. No. Do you now? He flashes a brilliant smile, and while the guards who remain at the top of the steps seem on edge, you see the guard captain, Gareth Miles, kind of glance over his shoulder and grin at the guards and wave them off like it's no big deal. Very well, though I don't believe that we follow the honor duel laws of Graev Snon here, I will indulge your request, if just to put you in your place. You will answer for her perfidy, lion. Oh, I'm much more than a lion. And the orc kind of glances at the Chief Ugturk kind of glances at the orcs around him and is like, "You accept my duel request. How shall we do this?" "Oh, I believe I'll give you the honor of choosing how to defend yourself." The Chief Ugturk kind of unlimbers a large battle axe from its place on his back and says, "Come then." And you see the Leonin kind of just draw both longswords, one in each hand, from across his back. "I thought you'd never ask." And the two kind of dive into battle, and the clash of steel and the sparks flying and the ringing of just the fight, it draws an even larger crowd than what I have placed on the table. Imagine for each person there's maybe 5 to 10 people. But it gets quite busy at this time. They dance together in a flurry of blade strokes around the fountain. At one point, atop the fountain, the massive orc chieftain kind of pressing the advantage in size over the smaller Leonin. Is anyone going to do anything or just watch?
I'm
just
looking
curious.
to the party, or what that of the party which is here.
And Brightleaf's just watching, kind of like, whoa, this is wild.
I'm gonna walk over to this group of orcs right here and see if I can get one of them's attention. Hey, why has this happened? What is going on?
It is an honor duel, small one. We of
Why?
Graev Snon have our own way of dealing with problems.
Alright, so why an honor duel?
The orc is like watching intently, but as you ask this question, he kind of like and decides to start trying to explain it to you, and he says, if you have honor behind your actions, you will be able to defend them with strength of arms. That she has someone as skilled as this furry fellow says something for her goals.
Okay, and if Turk wins, what, he's the new mayor?
No,
Is that... No?
she will be forced to acknowledge her transgressions against the tribe.
Okay. And what if Turk loses?
We will acquiesce and leave the mayor alone with our problems with her leadership.
I see.
Man, wouldn't it have been cool if there was some divination wizard who could have determined the outcome of this duel with some porn rolls? Whoops.
Yes, Yoga.
Ah, it's fine. It's chill.
Jesus Christ.
To be fair, what I can do with an arrow is probably just as good.
No, it's a very bad idea to interrupt this.
Oh, you
Yeah,
think I'm going to?
Yeah,
I don't know, Bird Brain, are you?
I have a feeling even the orc doesn't want help. You know, it's an honor duel. They don't. It's one-on-one.
Yeah.
Whereas Leoga could literally just look at the, the furry guy and like, yep, you missed 2 attacks, idiot.
As a player,
You can if you want. That's kind of why I asked if you wanted to do
as a
something.
player and as a bird, I am not a fan of either of these guys very much. So I'll just let it play out.
I'm not actually here, so I'll let it play out.
So Kleeck's gonna watch, Yoga's not here, Leon is asking about it, and Brightleaf is also just kind of watching. So the battle continues. Actually, go ahead, everyone, roll perception real quick.
Yoga too?
Yoga's not here.
I was about to say, I assume no.
Did I just get another 14 on perception?
Yes. Rolling them 8s tonight like nobody's business.
Another double nat 1.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I don't even know how to respond to that. That's incredible. That's actually just incredible.
That's my 4th 8 in a row on a dice.
Look,
That's my
Leon,
fifth
you need
nat
to pay
1.
more attention, okay? Be more receptive. Jeez.
Bron, are you hiding at this time?
Oh.
Oh,
Wait,
what?
what? Oh, no.
What?
I thought he was
here,
spectating.
he's alive.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I thought he was spectating.
Oh, no. I'm
Bron
excited.
is hiding.
Bron, please
God.
roll stealth for me.
Bron Pog! He do be back. Let's
Ooh.
go!
No one notices you.
Oh,
For a moment, from your position, you think Brightleaf may have seen you. But her gaze glides past you with no issue, so you remain hidden wherever on the map it is that you are, watching this same duel take place in front of you. In fact, I'll be right back, though. One sec.
Welcome, Bron.
So, bro, fancy meeting you here.
What's up?
Welcome back.
I have questions, but I'm not going to ask them. I want the
I will
D&D
ask
to
one
speak for
question.
itself.
Is this a guest appearance, Bron?
All will be answered in due time. Don't worry.
Yes, that's what I like to hear. Ha.
Is he really quiet for anyone else?
That's a little quiet, but I think you can turn it up.
Well,
I'm
you can turn up
literally-
your receiving volume.
I'm turned up as loud as I can be right now.
Yeah.
I gotta turn them up. I have
I only had you at 125, so I can easily bump you up if I need be.
I got 150.
Right.
Bron, use words.
1, 2, 3, 4 biscuits.
Yep, that'll work.
All right.
Actually, I'll put you at 169 just to be cool.
Hell yeah.
My wife is calling. Give me just a second.
Okay, back. So, as the battle continues between the guard captain Gareth, the chieftain Orc Ugturk, they circle around the fountain at one point, blades clashing back and forth. At this point, they're both bloodied. They are both injured, and you can see that the sweat is pouring from them. They are both kind of putting their all into this. It's clear that it's not just sort of like they're taking it seriously sort of thing. But there, at the last moment, as the Orc chieftain raises his battle axe to strike what would surely be a felling blow atop the Leonin, he rolls backwards as the blow thunders down and cracks into the pavement, kind of tearing up some of the paving stones. And the Leonin, Gareth Miles, darts back in and is able to, with one cut, knock the Orc chieftain back, and with another kind of bulldoze him over and knock him prone and away from his weapon. And with that, you have the panting, bleeding guard captain standing above the much larger Orc chieftain with his sword to his throat. And the Chief Ugturk looks up at him, and you can see the concession of defeat and the very curt, "I yield." And at that, the Leonin kind of just flicks his sword to get the blood off of it, resheaths it, and offers his hand up to help the chieftain up. The two share a sort of brief look. It's a hard stare, even, level, but with that, the Orc chieftain turns, gestures to his orcs, and they leave the square. Oh, Kleeck, you don't go with them. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
And you're like, that's not me. I'm like, yeah, it is. And so at that, I will have, once again, everyone roll perception checks.
Hey, Bron. Bron. I hate to say it, but you've only got a +2.
Leon, you see nothing, once again. Okay. So, in this moment, Kleeck, you, kind of flying a little bit above the crowd, you see two things simultaneously. The first, you see a face that you recognize, just kind of hidden in the crowd. You notice, wait, is that Bron? So Bron, please go ahead and drop your token on either the left or right side of the square.
You have a bird barreling towards you.
And Kleeck, at the same time that you see that, you and Brightleaf, who will have also seen this, will notice some other characters. Let's see, let me get them up. We have...
Oh, is this the whole shebang?
This is some stuff all at once, yeah.
Oh, I don't know that person.
I don't recognize that person.
Someone will.
Uh-oh. Wait, is that the submissive bard?
I'm sorry,
No.
what?
Unless they're
No,
using a different
that's a
photo.
different token. For a moment, I thought that guy was the old submissive bard.
Oh, Percy Johannesburg? Not
Yeah,
quite.
bro never got to meet that guy. Poor soul.
He did briefly, I think.
Because it was the same day we met Leon, because it was Leon's posse before he got integrated into our group. But
I think, Bron, that you may have met Percy Johannesburg. I'm not sure, though.
he's
No,
pretty
Oh,
forgettable.
yeah. No, I did meet that guy, yeah.
yeah, it would have been at the same time that Leon appeared. It would have been the same time as
Oh,
the
I thought Bron
the
was
other
already gone by
turtle
then.
and the kobold Boshi
Yeah,
Do
the
and the
angry
gnome.
turtle who could also churn big.
Yes,
I can
Yeah.
churn big too, but I just have chose not to.
not the same way. Yeah, exactly. So, Bron, you are sighted by Kleeck, who is now hurtling towards you. Kleeck, however, you also notice over in this area over here a well-dressed noblewoman with a sort of foppish-looking, some sort of dilettante, and 3 hooded elven guards. Brightleaf also notices this and kind of looks wide-eyed and heads over to Leon and is like,
Have they told me anything about?
No.
They haven't told me anything about his plan. I
no, and you're flying over to Bron right now.
I have no notice of consequence to the noblewoman.
Bron, could you also please roll for me a perception check?
Yes, sir.
Leon, you haven't noticed anything to be asking about. Bron, you absolutely also see the lady across the way. And you see her look over in the direction of the party that you have traveled with before, that you've seen. You see Leon. You see Brightleaf running over to Leon. And as you glance over, you see that this woman with this sort of dopey-looking, he would be charming if he were into that sort of thing, blonde human dude, he's a lute on his back, and he is standing with this woman as she quickly turns to one of these hooded, cloaked elven guards and whispers something, and they seem to suddenly be very alert. So Kleeck, Brightleaf, and Bron, you all saw that. Leon is spinning around because he didn't see anything. But as Brightleaf runs up, he says, she says, I think I see the person you're looking for. And she points in that direction. And you can see that they are starting to head in your direction. In fact, as you look, you can see that one of them is drawing a longsword. And at this point, perhaps we should roll initiative.
Oh, God.
Kleeck, were you flying over to Bron?
Yes, I was.
Okay, then whereabouts in that flight path would you have been?
I was flying at full speed, dashing. That's 100 feet in 6 seconds.
Okay, then you would be
At Bron.
at Bron as we begin this. So,
And I would have dived down, for the record.
that's fine.
And I was probably looking him over, checking if he actually exists. Last time I saw him, he was dead on the floor. And that's bad.
I return from the nether realm.
All right. So, that's what we have going on. So I'm going to start rolling perception or initiative. So we have an 18 for Brightleaf. We have wow. Okay. We have 18 for Eve. We have where'd that thing go? Wow, it's a lot of 18s.
All right, start figuring out the tiebreakers, guys.
Yeah, jeez.
Start doing rock, paper, scissors.
Kleeck.
This is
Screw your initiative. I win.
This is some bad initiative, though. Okay, townsfolk go late. That's fine. Also kind of funny. And then... Okay. So, Leon, I'll say that you were warned in time for you to not get reaction rounded. Kleeck and Bron. Kleeck will go first because he has a higher initiative than Bron, but in this moment, you are seeing in the distance as three elven, sort of like cloaked, elite-looking bodyguard types begin to draw their weapons, and two of them are kind of standing nearby the well-dressed noblewoman and the foppish dilettante. The other one has drawn their longsword and is approaching Leon, kind of stalking in their direction. There's been no active like combat or anything. No one's swung a sword or attacked anyone yet, but you're starting to hear panicked sounds from the crowd as they see someone who's not one of the two honor duel combatants draw a sword and kind of march through the crowd. So you're beginning to see that there's a little bit of a reaction, and it maybe won't go well. But Kleeck, you're first.
Well, on one hand, people are unsheathing weapons, and I kind of noticed that. But on the other hand, last thing Kleeck was doing was looking at Bron like, "You exist? You're alive? What happened?"
It's a free action to talk.
Well, I'm talking. I'm yelling. I'm screaming. I'm squawking even.
Let me know when your turn's done.
I am talking to Bron, and he is free to respond to my incessant squawking.
Alright, push the talk on.
Oh, you
turned
were
around.
responding. Wonderful.
Not right now, kid. There's something going on.
Okay. Anyway, up and over.
Okay.
I'm back at 50 feet. I'm just gonna type a little thing.
As you fly overhead, Gareth Miles looks up at you in confusion, like, why is there a bird person? And he doesn't yet seem to be aware of the situation. He is
Am
still
I supposed to know
panting
who
and
Gareth
bloody.
Miles is?
That would be the guard
Right,
captain.
Gareth. I'm sorry, I completely blanked for a moment there. But then
That's
I
quite
heard
all right.
like lying on the ground, and I'm like, "Oh wait!"
Yeah, he's not lying on the ground. He's kind of standing there, panting and bleeding, and looking rather regal despite everything. So
Okay, well, I'm readying an attack action.
Okay.
If somebody makes an attack against any of my party members, they're getting 2 arrows.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say then that if you don't have a bonus action, it is Bron's turn.
When you save your reaction, can you?
Yeah,
Double
I
attack.
read it. I'm pretty sure if you have multi-attack, you can ready multiple attacks, is what I've read. I'll double check it.
And that might mean because I'm thinking of it like attack of opportunity, but I guess if it's a ready action, then yeah.
Yeah, no, you are correct. Jeremy Crawford.
Yeah, I was looking at saving
If a
abilities
fighter
right now.
with multi-attack delays his action, can he take multiple attacks on the reaction or only one? Response. The ready action lets you ready any action you can take, including attack, but extra attack
one
is
attack.
on
one
your
attack.
turns. Shoot 1 arrow if you hold it.
Okay, either way, I'm holding an arrow.
Worth knowing, though.
Yeah.
Holding an arrow. Then we are on to Bron.
I'm going to use the dash action and bring myself over here.
Mhm.
And then cast Spiritual Weapon right here.
All right. Let me drop your spiritual weapon I have it here somewhere, I'm sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I was paying attention to most of this, but I'm not even sure what's happening. But it's fine.
It is fine. It's more than fine. Where's that damn token? Where did I put that thing?
I think it's something with Leon, but I'm not sure.
No, I mean, I have it somewhere. I know what it looks like. I'm not finding it for the moment. That's annoying. My apologies, Bron. Let me find where I put this damn thing. Diddly 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 diddly. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Diddly diddly, scroll, scroll, scroll. It's not under important NPCs, because it's not an NPC. Alright, I'm just going to drag it out of my folder of stuff. Oh no, I can't find anything. This is the worst day ever.
Greetings, meatbag.
It's okay, Bren, we're here for you.
It's
love you still.
horrible. I'm so sad.
We love you still, it's okay.
There it is. Okay, please, once more, show me the location of your spiritual weapon.
I'm sorry I replaced your rolls today with the 7 and 8, Bren.
It's okay. It happens. All right. So your spiritual weapon, two twinned blades, appear floating in the air before you, which actually causes the elven warrior who views them to kind of be taken aback a little bit, and she glances around for the source and sees you sprinting across the square, and begins to view you with, it seems like, a little bit more of a threatening air. And that's your turn, I guess, because you've moved, actioned, and bonus action. So
Yeah, that's it.
yep. So Cade over here, Leon, you will recognize this gentleman as the one that you requested and paid to spy on the person who you recognize that he is standing next to, your recognizable sister, Eve Razan. And he will kind of move closer to her, and his hand will go to the sword at his hip, and it definitely looks like he's trying to protect her. And as he sees you, and you see him, go ahead and roll an insight check.
Little rat bastard.
No, go ahead and roll an insight
We're gonna
check.
kill Leon's family!
16.
With a 16, you can kind of see the very, very small nod of recognition that he gives you.
Oh. Okay.
And with that, he stays near her for his turn. She will kind of move off to the side. I'll say that because they even have the same initiative, they'll move together. And this one guard kind of moves with her. Technically, Brightleaf is ahead of those two, so I'm going to change that in the turn order next time. Brightleaf is going to move next to Leon and draw her rapier and shield and glare at the longsword drawing elf with utter disdain as you both kind of hunker behind this little planter area. And it looks dodged the 7th nat 1 of the evening. It appears pretty clear in this moment that the elf knows that, this warrior elf here knows that she's not going to get the drop on the person that she's been sent to attack. And she turns back to glance at Ms. Razan real quick, who gives her a nod, and she charges forward, kind of hopping over the, and into this planter box. And as she charges towards you, Leon, I don't know, Kleeck, what you're waiting for your trigger, but she's attacking.
Then I am shooting. As
Go-
she begins an attack roll.
Go ahead and take your shot as she rushes towards Leon, longsword raised, ready to strike.
I'm going to choose the sharpshooter it, so this is going to be +5.
You mean
Does a 24 hit?
You mean -5 and +10
Minus
damage?
5 compared to that,
absolutely hits. Absolutely hits.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Give me 20 damage.
Okay, cool. Let me start writing stuff
Couldn't
down.
even roll a critical shake in my head.
Who even needs crits?
Why get a crit when you can just deal the extra damage of one anyway?
Exactly.
Jesus
If you natural 20 with a sharpshooter, that's damage.
No, because crit damage is doubles the dice, not the damage.
I thought
And
it also.
sharpshooter isn't an extra
No.
dice.
He's right. He's right. It doesn't double the damage. It doubles the dice.
So I mean,
It
I
doubles
get
the
an extra
damage on the
D8 of
dice.
damage,
Yeah.
but I'd still only have my normal +10 from sharpshooter.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
I know that's a rule that changes a lot between DMs.
It depends on the DM. It really does, because some people want to go, well, if you roll a crit, then it should double everything. Like, for instance, I think with like Critical Role, I think what they do is they actually just double the damage that you roll. I mean, like, you roll the damage and they double that. They don't even roll double dice. They double the rolled damage on the dice, which for me is it. When you roll double the dice, you actually just have raised the average by double. When you double the dice rolled, it's actually more risky. It's a bigger hit and miss. If you roll a 1, you just doubled your 1 to 2. So that kind of sucks. In any case, I don't want to go into statistics. The elf charges forward, gets hit in... Yeah, no, it's fun to talk about. We can get to that later. But the elf gets hit in the shoulder blades by the arrow and kind of stumbles forward even as they hop into that planter box. And as they do so, they're still coming for you, Leon, but Brightleaf kind of steps forward as if to defend you and stabs at the elf. And I'm going to roll to hit for her with the rapier. That is a, what, 8? 9? 8.
Imagine trying to stab our friend.
Yeah, so she's going to stab them.
Hey, 2 24s.
And do 12 damage. So this elf here that's charging towards you has taken some hits. However, they are going to take 2 swings at you with their longsword.
Oh no.
Does an 11 hit? Well, that's a critical hit. So yes, the first one is going to miss, I believe. What's your AC?
14, so miss and a hit.
Okay, so the critical hit hits. Let me roll damage real quick. It is... Let's see, is that right? No. So that would be 10 damage. 10 slashing damage as the elf steps forward and slashes at you. However, that was just the first elf, and they're going to kind of pivot and get more into combat with you. The other one here, seeing Kleeck fire off an arrow at their comrade, will raise their own bow and fire 3 longbow shots at Kleeck.
Excuse me?
Yes.
3. 3.
Yes, that is the profile I found for Elite Elven Guard.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a miss.
Miss
That's
and
a
a
hit. Mm-hmm. I can do nothing to change that, so I guess just roll the damage. At least it's just like a longbow. Yeah, that's not even that high. That's not even that crazy damage.
No, it's really not that bad. It's about the volume. You take 10 piercing damage as an arrow thuds into you, the 2 other flashing past you through the air. The other elf, who is also playing guard, also pulls a bow and fires off 1 shot, 1 at Leon, 1 at Brightleaf, and 1 at Kleeck. So I'm going to roll them in that order. So Leon, Brightleaf, Kleeck.
Wow. Oh
wow,
wow.
this one is a boss. Holy crap! Just hit all three of you. So I guess I'll just roll damage there real quick. So this is in order again to Leon, Brightleaf, Kleeck. 7, 7, 8 piercing damage to each of you. And after that, those two elves, let's see, the one with the bow is going to kind of shrink into the crowd. The other one is going to stay guarding the Lady Razan. For his part, I'm going to make sure that the guard captain is aware of the situation. The guard captain, bleeding, kind of glancing around at people dashing past and shooting arrows, still tired from the battle, is still not quite aware of the situation, and is unable to respond. However, seeing combat break out, the townsfolk have been lucky enough to dodge the combat thus far, but will begin moving towards the exits, screaming and yelling as people begin swinging swords and shooting bows and dashing into combat. They had come to watch, the lion fight the orc, and ended up with a bit more than they bargained for. So the people nearby are fleeing the scene as fast as they can, leaving only the combatants. So as we circle back to the top of... Oh, I guess we're actually at Leon now. Leon, it's at you.
Alright. So I'm going to start this off. I'm going to start off by casting Mage Armor on myself.
Mhm.
I get the feeling this is going to get nasty. So 16 AC.
Mhm.
And
What does your mage armor look like? You touch a leather strap somewhere on your body, and the mage armor springs to life. But what does that look like?
I'm going to say instead of my usual fancy suit, I'll touch one of the leather bindings on the lower side of my mask, and it'll just drape into that long cloak that you usually see them have.
Oh, so you look like a total plague doctor now. Like in like the whole cloak, like from neck down, you're just like this black kind of robed shape with like that floating beak mask.
Yes.
Badass. And the top hat.
Right. And I'm blanking on this. Did we say cantrips can be bonus action, or does it have to be an action?
It depends on the cantrip. If it is a bonus action, you can cast it in a spell slot that takes an action, and vice versa. It really comes down to you can only cast cantrips as a bonus action if they're a bonus action cantrip, and your action wasn't... Wait. Let's see. No, that's right. You cast a spell slot spell for your action, so you could do a cantrip for your bonus if you have one, but you can't take a regular action cantrip and cast it as a bonus, no.
That is correct. So, all right. So that'll be my turn.
Okay. So you bring up your mage armor, very close confrontation with this elf guard here, who seems intent on killing you despite being in the middle of an open square. And we go to Kleeck. Kleeck, you have now been targeted and hit by 2 arrows. One by this lady over here who shot at you 3 times, and one by this one who hit you and Leon and Brightleaf all at once.
And it looks like this guy's stepping up to the plate to fight too.
No, he seems dazed and confused and bloodied.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
gonna start shooting at the one that was focusing me, and I'm gonna fire 2 of my sharpshooters. These are both gonna be sharpshooter.
Roll to hit.
Highest one's an 11.
Miss.
Yeah. All right.
They thud
Right.
into the building
Give me a
behind her, and she seems terrified at the strength of the bow shots that came flying out of the small flying bird's longbow, but undeterred, she springs an arrow.
I am going to fly down behind this tree and seek of some form of obscuring or cover to make me harder to hit.
Depending on the angle and who's shooting at you, you will get it. So Good call.
Yeah.
So that was
You know what,
attack and movement.
I'm gonna change this text to just say hit or something, or in the air,
Okay,
because like it's kind of annoying to track exact height
that's fine.
constantly when I'm constantly changing heights to get behind things.
Do you have a bonus action you want to use?
I don't believe I do.
Then we'll
No,
skip
I'll
on
use
over to
second
Bron.
wind. I'll use second wind.
All right,
I
go
have
ahead.
second
Roll,
wind
roll
available.
your healing, and Bron, you're on deck and ready to go.
Alright, hell yeah. Would I get any kind of cover if I got behind this fountain?
Yeah, from either of these two arcs, you would have cover. Because the lip of the fountain, if it offers some protection, and especially if you went prone, it would give you even more protection. Because it's about waist height.
Alright.
Except for the center portion. That portion is taller, so.
Alright. I like to run over here and kind of crouch down.
Mhm.
In the meantime, I want my spiritual weapons to come up near this guy.
Okay. That's 20 feet. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then it'll make an attack against the elven archer.
Please roll to hit.
Ooh.
That 19 is going to hit.
Hell yeah. Alright.
10 force damage. All right, so as the two blades slide around your party members, who have all kind of gathered now behind this planter, the elven guard stands in the planter, and the blades slide around them and then slash at them twice across the back, and you can see them staggering even as you take cover behind the fountain there. And that seems like, did you have an action that you also wanted to pull off?
Hell yeah. I'd also like to cast Ray of Sickness on this one.
All right, Ray of Sickness, the con check?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Ray of Sickness is a leveled spell.
Yep.
Yeah, but spiritual weapon was already cast.
Oh wait, that
And-
was spiritual
and
weapon.
it was a
Sorry.
bonus action.
I
No, you're
blanked
fine.
for a moment on what his bonus action was. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. 10, so that's a failure against the DC of 14. And
Does it even hit for 12?
oh, it was also a hit. Okay. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It does not hit with a 12.
Dang. Alright.
It was a spell attack, and then if it hits, they need to make a con save.
Yeah. Well, it'll
Okay.
still do damage, but the con save is if they're poisoned or not.
Ooh, poison status effect
Okay.
would be huge on these archers.
Hell yeah.
So it looks like you do how much damage then, since it was a miss? Or no, you have to hit, and then on a failed con save, it doesn't poison them. On a failed con save, it does poison them. On a successful con save, it doesn't. So
Yeah, exactly.
didn't hit, did nothing. Okay, so the ray of sickness flies past the elf, who nimbly steps to the side and raises their bow, ready to start firing at you. Now that you've shown yourself to be a threat. So that was action, movement, bonus action. Did you have anything else?
That's it.
All right, gotcha. So, Cade, the gentleman who is standing with Razan, you can see that he whispers to her, and they're moving at the same time. So they are going to retreat off stage and exit view. So I'm just going to take them both out of the order. In the meantime, Brightleaf will pivot around the elf in the box, getting them between Leon and herself, and take 2 stabs with what you get multi-attack as a ranger at level 5, yeah?
Yes, you do.
All right, cool. That explains it. 2d20.
If you are the superior Horizon Walker, you can have up to 3 attacks at 11th level.
That sounds about right. First stab, second stab. Both are going to hit. Oop. That's going to be a 9 and a 6. This elf here in the box is looking pretty bloodied. Like they are almost done. And with that, Brightleaf's turn is over, and the elf is going to disengage. Let's see. Yep. And book it to their ally there. I'm going to mark them as being very injured. For their parts, the other two will take aim. This one up here, who's now been shot at by Kleeck and missed, and attacked by Bron and missed, is going to, let's see.
For the record, I'm behind that tree, which...
Yep.
Tell me if it's inaccurate, but it looks thickly leaved. I am under the assumption that it is considered like heavily obscured, if not full cover, since you can shoot through branches and leaves.
Yeah.
But for the fact that I'm behind it, I'm assuming I'm not visible enough to be fired at.
They saw you go there, but they can't really see you there from their perspective.
That's the idea. Heavily obscured is the same as invisibility. It's disadvantage on the attack if you know it's there.
Exactly.
So I can still be shot at. It's just not preferable.
This northernmost elf right here, who was just Ray of Sickness attempt by Bron, is going to fire 3 shots back. And they are at... you're crouched down behind the cover of the fountain, so I'm going to give you 3/4 cover.
All right.
So that would be a +5, I believe. And I'm guessing those all miss.
Oh yeah.
I don't think those would hit it normally, see?
No, I don't think they would either. The other, and they're going to move closer or farther down the alleyway. And this other elf is going to take aim at Leon for 2 shots and at Brightleaf for another. So Leon, and then Brightleaf. That's going to be a hit, and a hit.
Oh!
Aim.
1d8 plus 4.
Why do they get the good rolls, man?
So 6 and 10 damage, piercing damage to you, Leon, and then 11 piercing damage to Brightleaf. And that one will kind of stay behind a little bit, step forward, and hopefully let their ally leave. I will roll another check for Gareth Miles to see if he is suddenly aware of the situation. He is still coming to and not quite aware. He dazedly kind of walks over to the side, the other side, where Bron is, and kind of glances over at you, hunkered down behind the fountain. Is like, "Are you all right, citizen? The duel is over." And you can see blood is like kind of pouring from a gash along his forehead. He has a couple like wounds across his like breastplate. He looks like he's not fully aware of the situation at all. You can tell in this moment, Bron, as he kind of walks over to you. The townsfolk continue to flee. Most of them have left the area now since the combat started. And now we go to Leon at the bottom of the turn. You have been pumped full of arrows, and you can see the 3 guards are retreating with their ward after attempting to come at you.
You can see the light as well.
Yeah.
You are injured.
That hurts.
Oh, this guy would be gone. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. That.
Find the last surviving wonder of the ancient world.
Kleeck and Bron, you are on deck in that order.
Mm-hmm.
Yoga's just marching over to like this homeless encampment, like, I hope everyone's okay over here.
So, I'm gonna do Tasha's mind loop on this one.
Okay, the one who's very badly injured.
Yes.
What is the text of that spell? What are we doing?
Lash out at one creature at range.
Okay.
Must make an intelligence save.
Int save. Got it. That is a 3. I'm guessing it fails. It would fail against a base DC of 8.
Alright, so it's a fail. It takes 9 damage, and it can't take any reactions, and on its next turn, it only gets to either move, make an action, or make a bonus action.
So, okay,
What
perfect.
level spell is that?
Can you
It is a
click the
second
show
level.
spell description, Leon? Because I think if we click it, like
Okay.
it goes.
Yeah, you
Okay, it's level
psychically
2.
lash out.
That's pretty. That's good.
So, Leon, you kind of reach into your soul or wherever it is on your person, in your entity that your link to your cards resides, and you feel the pull of whatever magic it is that lets you access and view and channel their powers, and you literally draw on it as a tendril and lash out, and in the intervening space you see a sort of ripple through the air as the elf who had struck at you with her sword, even as they're running away now, badly injured, kind of staggers and falls to one knee. They look on death's door. You don't know how much closer they could get to death without dying. If you were to measure it in units, they would have 1 health unit remaining out of a number that is greater than 1. So that is the state of affairs with Red Dot Lady. And that's your action.
Yep, and that's and movement. I am going to get back here behind the
Okay.
tree with Kleeck.
Got it.
And that's my turn.
Got it. All right, Kleeck, next it's over to you.
I'm gonna fly over here, a little bit up. This one is running away. Yes.
That one is super injured. Like they're staggering, they're stumbling, they look near death. Very, very much near death. The other two,
I am
the other two
asking
for their
if
parts.
they look like they are running away, or if they are gonna be still
they're running away. They're running away. The one with
Okay.
the one who has the red dot is very clearly panicking and running.
And that is what I was asking. In that case, I'm going to specifically not fire at them. I'm going to fire at the
Execute them,
closest one that is
Kleeck.
not running around.
All right, go ahead and roll the
There's
hit.
no reason to kill someone who has chosen to run.
Execute.
I'm just going to do normal shots.
Sure. That's going to be 2 hits.
Okay, that's about what I figured. I have calculated their AC.
Have you?
Let me
25
change it
damage.
real quick.
2 arrows thud into the chest of the elf, and you see them kind of recoil from the blows, reach up and kind of just with one arm break them off without pulling them out.
That is
they
not
have
smart at all.
they have combat to deal with. So yeah, they wince in pain. In fact, 1 minute.
It's just going to make it way harder to remove later.
They take D6 damage as they do it, just for flavor.
How smart
Kleeck,
of
that
them.
was your attack.
Actually, I don't suppose, since it's when a creature is hit, I get to use my arcane shot. Yes.
When they're hit, yes, they were hit twice.
Grasping arrow.
Okay, does that only hit the one that you targeted? And what do I do?
It's only once per turn. I think I get to. Yeah, it's once per turn. I can use arcane shot, and I'm using grasping arrow. So that is going to be 2d6 poison damage. I'm going to roll immediately for 5 poison damage to them, and then they have a reduced movement speed. And if they move without removing the bramble, it's going to be an extra 2d6 slashing.
Man, you're just talking about Tasha's whip being good.
So
This is a limit. This is
the
a
arrow
thing I get to use
slams
twice
into
per turn.
one of the 2 arrows as it slams into the elven guard. You see the familiar brambles kind of reach out from the point of impact, even as they break off the arrow, and it kind of wraps around them, and you can see that they're a little tied up at the moment.
Yeah, they're going to have to waste their action and all 3 of their attacks, removing those, unless they want to get hurt.
Yep.
Anyway, that'll be it.
All right, Bron, over to you.
Have at 'em.
Alright. I want to move my spiritual weapon here and attack this elf.
All right, roll a hit. That will be a hit.
Ooh, Bron putting the pressure on. Now they can't. Now they really got to move if they stay out of melee range of something that's going to smack them.
All right, your blades float through the air, kind of dancing around the sort of ramshackle, different, shop stalls that have been set up near some of the buildings here in the town square. And as they dart underneath one of the canvases, the elf doesn't really have time as they flash out and stab slash. And you see blood splash across the ground in front of them as they stagger back from the literal force damage of the blows. And that was your bonus action.
Yep. Then I'm going to move. Yeah. Going to move here, and I'm
30
going
feet.
to cast Toll the Dead, and I have a feature that makes it if 2 enemies are standing close together, it'll hit both of them.
Yep. So are you aiming at both of these two here?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, cool. So that's a con save or a wisdom save?
That's a wisdom save. They have to beat 14.
So this is for
Execute.
the injured one. Well, they're going to be dead. This is for the one who's also injured, but not as badly injured. Okay, so for the one who's injured, how do you want to do this?
Ooh. I point at both of them, sort of in the space between them. And this sound of this bell rings up between them as they shake with necrotic damage. Just drops dead.
Yep. So one is just going to drop dead as you hear the peal of a bell tolling, and the other one will take. Go ahead and roll damage. It's going to be a D12.
Ooh.
Not the best.
It's double what you would have gotten at last
Oh, yeah,
level.
it's 2D12 now. Yep. All right, so let me count that out. That's 15, 20, 26. And 20,
Cantrips OP.
21, and... All right, so the one is dead, and the other one looks pretty badly hurt. If you could say that they were at the halfway point, you would know that they were beyond that. But yeah, one of the 2 elves has fallen dead now, and the other 2 are looking scared. So that's movement, action, bonus action. I'm guessing you're done at this point, Bron, as you fell one of the elves who has assailed your compatriots.
Ooh, I'm stupid.
We'll move then to Brightleaf, who will... she has her shield out, and it is an action to doff a shield, just as it is an action to don a shield. I guess that means she couldn't technically have readied an attack. Whatever. She's going to dash forward, and she is going to attempt to grapple the grasping arrowed elf.
Wait, but then they can't move.
They can't move?
Not when they're grappled.
Yeah, they can't move when they're grappled. That is correct.
Which means that there's no reason for them to bother with my thing.
Well,
Then
now
again,
they
I
have
guess
2
one
things
more
to get
action
rid
they
of.
have to waste. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to have her roll to grapple, which is an athletics opposed by acrobatics.
Or athletics. The person being attacked can use either.
Yeah, but the person who's attacking has to use athletics, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say Brightleaf failed on the first attempt.
Yeah, Brightleaf strength probably ain't that good.
And then for the counter, for the second attempt, yes, she goes to try and grab the elf, but they somehow, despite the brambles wrapped around them, manage to easily dodge the first attempt and barely dodge the second attempt. Brightleaf seems visibly frustrated with her inability to grab this clearly less physically adept than her elf. You know, you've known Brightleaf. Everyone here has known Brightleaf for at least like a month now. She is very dexterous, so for her to not be able to grab this lesser specimen of knife earhood is troubling to her. However, she has moved, she has actioned, and she does not have a bonus action that she is ready. The elves, for their part, one dead, the other will move 10 feet and will, let's see. Will use an athletics check to attempt to tear the brambles off of their partner.
DC 13 strength, raw strength.
Okay. 14. They managed to tear the brambles off, and let's see, that was 10 feet.
There goes their attack. At least.
5. They'll take an attack of opportunity.
Wait, the other one broke them off.
Which will hit, yep. Which will hit, so...
Okay. I was double checking that was allowed. I assumed it was, but yeah, any creature can break them off.
She stabs the elf for 10 piercing damage, and the elf then, that was 5, so 15 left, off the map. Still barely in range, right? This one, who hasn't yet moved, will, and is far more injured. I'm going to give them a yellow so that you can know that they're somewhat injured. Let's actually do orange. And remove the yellow. They are going to action disengage because they were never grappled and they're no longer brambled. And they are going to retreat. They've been... Wasn't the red one psychic lashed?
Yeah.
Or, no... Okay, so yeah, the red one was Psychic Lash, they're dead. So this one is going to disengage and then just move the rest of their movement. So at this point, they're retreating, very clearly, having left one of their dead because they're dead. So you can pursue them, as we're still in initiative order. They're not fighting you this turn, they literally just broke and fled.
I want to pursue.
Okay, so after them, we will have Miles, who we'll see if he notices what's going on yet. Nope.
Execute them, Kleeck.
So at this point, Bron, you've just run past him, and he's still dazed, blood kind of dripping from his head wound, turns and is like, is everything all right? And he kind of staggers over, looks a little tired, and sits down on the fountain holding his head like it really hurts, because it does. Townsfolk are already gone. Leon, it's your turn.
All right. I want to pursue. So,
Okay.
30 feet would be there.
If you can get out there and see one of them, you can mind whip one. Please try and mind whip the one that's hurt. They should be within range.
From
It's a
this
90
angle, you're not quite around the corner. Roll a perception check to see if you could maybe see them around the corner from the position you're in. I'm going to give them half cover if you can see them. Full cover if you can't, because you can't see them. However, there are some spells that don't require... Oh, you can definitely see them, so they have half cover from your position, but you can sight them down this I guess, street, as they kind of are... They're kind of running out of the Civic Center into a little bit less populated area, because this town, the city's so, like, spread apart, right? So
get him with the mind whip. Also, that was your first good perception this entire session.
Yeah.
My first, not below 10. Yeah. I'm going to hit him with a mind whip, so I need a intelligence save.
Which one? The more injured one or the less injured one that's slightly closer?
The more injured one.
Okay. Int save. That's going to be a failure.
All right, and it takes 16 damage, and it can only do movement, action, or bonus action.
So that was on the more injured one?
Yes.
Okay. You see them with the same rippling effect as your just of psychic energy lance out through the intervening space, and you see them kind of slip and fall and get back to their feet, visibly slowed and perhaps a little rigid in their movements. Their partner looks a little worried, but they continue to run, the two of them together. to the top of the round then if you didn't have a bonus action, Kleeck.
Yeah, no
I am
bonus
going
action.
to,
Sure.
using my movement, 50 feet.
'Kay.
Over here, I'm also going up above the roofs.
Yeah,
So I can
you get a
see
pretty
way
good
down
view
this
of them
line.
from where you are. Yep,
I
you
have
have a good line of sight.
sharpshooter. I have sharpshooter and a longbow. They ain't getting. My first shot. I'm gonna aim for the more injured one, and I'm going to aim for to disable. This is normal shot.
You are going to miss.
Then I'm going to take a second one, also aiming to disable.
So the
Okay.
first shot, the second one will hit even with the -5, but the first shot slams into the ground and throws up a huge cloud of dirt, which both of the elves go, ah! And the second one thuds into probably
Leg.
like the hip. Yeah, the
Leg,
hip
hip,
of the injured guard. Go ahead. Well, okay. So with the additional 10 damage, you're gonna knock them out. So they're just gonna go down because
okay.
8 plus 10 is 18, which is more than 10, which is what they had
That was
left.
min
So
damage too.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna like arcane shot that to bramble them, and I was even ready to use insert. No.
So
I was disabling yoga.
Nah,
Disabling.
so
That
you
was
see
not an execution.
you see the elf kind of stumble and fall and roll and come to a stop in the ground. The other one kind of stops for a second and makes as if to try and like reach for them, and then looks up in the sky and sees you. And we're in the granularity between turns, so what they decide to do will be figured out in a moment. But that was your movement and action. So anything else for Kleeck?
I'm going to action surge.
Okay.
I'm going to fire 2 arrows at the other one as well. Also sharpshooter. And can I roll like they've seen my arrows crashing into the ground and kicking up dust with their force. Can I roll any kind of intimidation along with this? Like to try
No.
and actually scare them away? No?
If you were going to do that, I would have you. It's basically like using menacing attack. So I'm gonna say no. They already have a psychological reaction to the situation.
Okay, well I'm just gonna
It's kind of baked in.
I'll fire 2 sharpshooter shots at him.
Okay, so the 19 minus 5 is 14 will miss, and the 23 minus 5 is 18 will hit. So go ahead and roll damage for the 18,
Another 18
which is
damage.
18. Got it. So this arrow thuds into the looking up at you, and they seem surprised, like they realize that maybe the fact that they stopped is what got them hit. And that they glance down at their fallen partner again, who they can see breathing raggedly. Kleeck, that is your action, and your movement. Do you have a bonus?
Not anymore.
All right, Bron,
Nope.
we're going to kick it over to you then.
Oh yeah, all right. I'm going to get rid of my
You know what? I should have arcane
spiritual
shot.
weapon,
Oh well.
and then
What
I'm
I
gonna
do should I
dash
do
over here. While I'm
stupid shit?
dashing, I just kind of turn to Miles, this character here, and I just yell, "Go home, you damn fool!"
Go ahead and roll persuasion with disadvantage. He's confused.
All right.
2 natural 20s. Come on.
Bah.
What? He seated on the edge of the fountain, holding his head in his hands, kind of glances up, bleary-eyed, and in your direction. Doesn't seem to have heard what you said clearly. Free action to talk.
I said, "Go home." You were standing in the damn crossfire.
He doesn't appear to have heard you very well. Anything else for your turn?
I'll just go, ugh, and then look back at this dead elf on the ground, and that'll be my turn for now.
Okay. Brightleaf will kind of head past you, and let's see, she's got 35. She's going to dash past you and say, "Good to see you again, Bron." And with her 35 and then dash for another 35, she can move 70 feet in a turn. And she's going to get up next to the elf, not be able to do anything. Eve and the fellow Cade are about like 70 feet farther along and are in the cover of some buildings. You can barely see them from where you are. You as well, Kleeck. But they got a head start and have been sprinting unimpeded the entire time. So, but Brightleaf, for her part, is now standing over the elf, who, seeing her, is going to. Let's see. She is going to not disengage, but just dash away as fast as she can. So 60 feet in the opposite direction, pursuing her ward, who she's meant to protect. So I'll roll a opportunity attack to hit from Brightleaf, which she will fumble horribly, and the elf will get 60 feet further away. Miles is probably going to totally understand what's going on now. Nope. He just kind of sits there. Leon, back to you.
Good God, so mighty.
At this point, guards are starting to approach from the steps of the Civic Center, and they are calling for you to halt in general. But they're still a bit away at this point, so you don't have to listen to them.
I'm gonna yell at Kleeck, Brightleaf, and Bron. We need to get out of here. We can come back for them later. And I'm going to. Let me see, how far am I from him? 20 feet. All right. Action. I'm going to. Yeah. Action. I'm going to heal the captain.
Mm-hmm.
5 HP.
With what?
The Hierophant card from my tower roll today.
Okay.
So he gets 5 HP, and I am going to spend my entire movement to. You said they're coming from north or south?
North.
And
They're coming from up here.
I'm going to start heading this way.
Okay. So as you reach out and you channel some of the power of your cards into the guard captain, you can see some of his wounds knit a little bit before your very eyes, and he glances up at you, his eyes a little clearer, and there's a small moment of recognition, and he makes as if to say something, and then you turn and run away.
We need to move, guys.
Kleeck, back to you.
I'm gonna fire 2 normal shots at the one that's still running away, because they're still within my range.
Yep. I'm going to say at this point, with their running, well, you missed twice anyways, but they have gotten to a point of half cover in some of the awnings of some buildings and stuff as they ran.
Right.
So
Well, if
you
I
missed
miss
anyways, but
yeah, if I miss, like, those are my last 2 shots, regardless of if they hit. I'm gonna start heading towards the one I downed non-lethally.
Got it. They are KO'd. They are unconscious on the ground, and they are bleeding. In fact, I should roll a death save for them.
No, it was non-lethal.
Ah. Well, it's still an arrow. They're still bleeding. They just didn't die instantly.
That is fair.
I guess I was just thinking, how are you going to non-lethal an arrow with...
Technically, you can non-lethal any weapon just by game mechanics. I won't claim to completely understand it.
Like
you can non-lethal firebolt, apparently, technically.
Yeah,
I find that strange.
Yeah,
it's strange.
Most DMs automatically say that magic is automatic lethal.
It depends on the DM.
Yeah.
All I will say is that I was at least trying to aim my shots non-lethally. So if there's any bonus you can give to the death save or something for aiming to disable,
well, let's put it like this: it wasn't a 1, so they're still alive. But yeah, I get you. They're still alive. They're knocked out and they're bleeding. And if left unattended, they have a worse chance at survival than if someone does something. So as you stand over their unconscious bleeding form, you kind of get the measure of that. Do we want to drop out of turn order, or are you guys going to still be using the granularity to try and make last-second decisions before you book it? Or are you going to book it? I don't know. What do you want to do?
I'm good at this point.
Okay, so Kleeck, you're over the body. Bron, we'll go to you. You are now standing over the body of the dead one who you killed a moment ago.
All right. I would like to practice my faith and its ancient traditions and loot this corpse.
Of turning bodies, yep. Go ahead and roll investigation.
That's so funny too, because I was actually looking at cleric domains today, and I looked at the grave ability. So when you talked about Toll the Bells, I was like, I know what ability that is.
So with an 18, you will find that on this person's body they have a suit of studded leather and a cloak that is over it. They will have a long sword and a longbow and a dagger, and that's you also find a small coin pouch with 1 platinum, 12 gold, and 18 silver.
All right.
Kleeck, with that medicine check, which will come by on your next turn because you spent the turn shooting and missing.
Yeah.
On your next turn, when you do the medicine check, you will be able to give 1 successful death save to the well, let's see if it's over 20. Yeah, you give 1 successful death save to the elf as you patch them together. You don't have a medikit, and you're not particularly trained in it, right?
No.
So yeah, that's why it's not.
He knows how to slap a bandage on a wound, and that's what he's trying to do. Just quell the bleeding. Do what he can.
Okay, so they have 1 fail and 1 success at this point. So Bron, you've turned the body. You found a longbow. You sword. Unfortunately for you, the studded leather is going to be difficult to take off of a corpse, and it has some holes in it where arrows have gone through, and your blades have slashed at them. So it's not the it's not the best example right now.
All right. I'll just take what I can without spending too much time.
Yeah. So the money, the longbow, and the easiest things to grab off of their person. Everything else is clothing or armor that they're wearing, or just odds and ends that don't really have any real importance.
Alrighty.
But that's your action. You can still move in bonus action if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna start moving towards Kleeck, where he's standing.
Okay.
He's fairly far now, I believe.
Yeah,
Not
he's
super,
about
but
he's about 40 feet down the hallway, maybe, or down the alley, 30, 40.
Yeah, I'll move to about 30 feet, 10 feet
Okay.
away from him.
So Bron, Brightleaf, and Kleeck are down 1 alley. Leon is headed towards the front entrance that they came in, booking it. Guards are coming in from the north. As we get to Brightleaf, she will let the last elf flee, turn, and see that Kleeck is trying desperately to help the elf on the ground who is bleeding out. She will come over and she'll say, "Step aside, but be ready." And she will kind of lay her hand on the forehead of the elf, and you'll see some magic energy radiate out from her, and the elf on the ground eyes suddenly shoot open, and she's going to cast.
I have
Cure
my
Wounds.
bow. I have my bow already aimed at her head. If I've been told to ready, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Is it 3?
This is one of those moments of stay down.
Imagine a 3-foot-tall bird person having a Glock to your
Imagine
head.
a 3-foot-tall bird person shooting arrows with enough force to stick into stone, and then you can start worrying about being intimidated by one.
The bow's bigger than you. We're all used to it by now. So the elf, their eyes dart open, and their hand reaches for a longsword that has been moved away from them at this point. Brightleaf has kind of kicked it off to the side. And seeing you with your bow knocked with an arrow aimed and leveled at them, they very slowly raise their hands above their head and say, I surrender. And if we'd like, since it's 8:04, we can close the session here with everyone kind of retreating in their different directions. The guard captain confused and dazed, and the guards starting to charge in from the north. Yoga, you reach the homeless encampment. Or wait, no, you're headed to the Ugg Turk place first.
Right.
So you reach the Ugg Turk place, and you see that the walls actually have a number, far more than before, of orcs atop them, and they seem pensive and wary as they look off to the east. For a moment, you escape notice.
Can I push this decision till next session?
Absolutely.
I was about to say, if we are just doing Yoga's thing now, I might just go now if Kleeck won't be on screen for anything, because I gotta do some stuff.
No, it's fine. If we want to kick this stuff to next session, we can absolutely do that. We'll have some decisions for everyone to make as soon as we start. I'm going to go ahead and close the turn order and assume that we are out of this combat as it has come to a close. But yeah, other than that, thank you everyone. This was very fun. So next session we'll pick up right where we left off. If we want, we can do the yoga stuff first to kind of just slowly come into it, or we can do the party stuff first and see if maybe they get back to yoga before he even has time to do much. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But if that's everything, then we can close the session for tonight. So thank you everyone, and let me hit that recording button.
I did just I wanted to present when we were talking about crits earlier. Actually, I never knew about the you only double the dice, but since we were talking about different ways to do it, I actually came up with how I do it in my games.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked, which is where you roll the first set, you roll your normal set of dice normally, but then I basically treat it as you maximize the second roll of dice. So if you had a D8, you'd roll your D8, and then you have plus 8. So it's like rolling second, but you always have max.
Some people do that where it's like guaranteed max dice or something on a crit.
I don't do it with all the dice because
I get
that'd be crazy, but it does. My method still does add a lot of damage for crits, but
the problem I have with that is that I feel like. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, personally, if I could have crits anyway, I would probably say for every dice you put another dice in, but you also double the modifier and the dice. So it's so it's effectively just an extra attack in there, as if you got the damage of an extra attack. But for the purposes of simplicity and keeping things consistent, in my game I usually just double dice.
Yeah, I find that the easiest and in keeping with the ideal of it, because when you think about it, you could hit someone in their vulnerable spot, you get a critical hit on them and you hit them where they're vulnerable, and you could just not have a lot of force behind it that one time that you got lucky and hit them critically. So, that is, I would assume, the bare bones explanation of why a critical hit can do not that much damage, even compared to a regular hit.
Yeah, it's always extra damage, but it's one of those things. Sometimes a critical hit only deals about as much damage as your normal hits.
Yeah, your crit does less than max damage for a normal hit, and you're like, oh man, I only 10 on a D6 plus 4 normally, where your max damage would be 10. You rolled a 1 and then a 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I could have gotten 16, but nope.
Yeah. I like my players to feel good, and of course the enemies have the same crit roll, so. But I understand your that way.
It's all about the scaling and making it available to everyone. So no, I totally understand. I'm going to hit stop now.